well, they didn't do anything wrong. Why? That's unfair, right? But it's the same in the sense of an analogy, right? If you're at work and there's one bad apple who does something wrong, y'all all get punished for it, and it's wrong, but it is subsequently what happens. And it's not necessarily that I agree with everything that Trump stands for, because I do agree with things like Kamala stands for.
I'm not tracking anything that you're saying. In 2 sentences or less, justify his illegal deportation of Abrigo Garcia.
Well, like I just said, I wasn't justifying him illegally deporting somebody. It was the deportation because he illegally deported people, but there was also the M13 that he deported.
So Abrigo Garcia was the alleged MS-13 gang member.
Right.
Right, but by the way, that's also not true. So what point are you making?
So that specific person may not have been a gang member, but what did he send? He sent, I think, 350,000 people, was it?
Haley,
that may be wrong.
Haley, are you driving right now?
No.
I could hear the car moving. Are you a passenger in the moving car?
I am. I am not driving.
Could you have your driver say, hey, real quick?
Hi.
That's not your driver. That's Haley. And you're also a minor. Could you have your driver say, hey, real quick?
I have earphones in.
Okay. You're lying to us, Haley. Feel free to re-request when you get back home. I'll let you back up. I think lying to me about not driving is probably the least worst thing that you've said in the time that you've been on the live. Hello, 1-2. Are you MAGA?
No, I'm not.
All right. Well, we are just looking to talk to individuals that are MAGA, so I'm going to move on. Appreciate you for being here. Go ahead and let me know down below in that live chat over on TikTok if you'd like to come up and have a debate, everybody. Let's go and get that next guest up on the live literally right now, y'all. And in the meantime, make sure that we are double tapping, sharing out the stream with a handful of friends, and letting me know down below if you are MAGA. Everybody, let's get that next guest up here right now. In the meantime, got a couple people to thank. Oh my God. Mr. J with $100 super chat over on YouTube. Let's get 1,000 JWs down below. Jay says. 1 second. Did G-Man just say a slur? Or am I tripping? I don't know. Did I just hear something?
Hello?
Oh, okay. We're going to go to move on to the next guest. But guys, let's seriously get 1,000 JWs down below while we get that next guest up on the live. And while we're getting Whitney loaded in, I'm going to go ahead and just read off Jay's message real quick. Jay says, my donations to you, Dean, is my way to support somebody who I greatly admire for his courage and unparalleled critical thinking skills. I'm also supporting myself and learning how to work with my fear and achieving the same by watching your masterful example. Jay, that is so kind of you. You're in here all of the time. I bet that you're an absolute killer at debate. Thank you for your unparalleled kindness and the incredibly generous $100 donation. Please show some love to Jay down below. Daniel, what is going on, man? You're on the live. How are we doing? Walking the dog?
Hey, I'm back in.
You're back in. Have you been up here before?
Yes.
Have we debated before?
Well, no, I was on here like an hour ago, and then there's mic feedback.
Oh, okay. Are you MAGA?
Yes.
Okay, great. Before we hop into your debate, I have a couple more people to thank on top of Jay. Megan, Thank you so much for the $5 on PayPal, saying that the debate with Owen was so well done. Thank you so much for the love. That's incredibly kind of you, Megan. As well as Bridget, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal, saying use this to get yourself a big bottle of Advil. You're going to need it after talking to this goober. Dude, I need a lot of Advil after talking to like 99% of these people. Thank you for the love, Bridget. Let's get 200 Bridget W's down below in that chat. As well as Abigail, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, and Ellie with it too. I appreciate you guys so much. And take it away, Daniel. Tell us why you support Trump.
Yes, I support him mainly because of his immigration and.
Oh, jeez. You're kind of like knocking around a lot. You need a second to kind of.
No, I'm good. Sorry, I had to let the dogs in.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, mainly because of his immigration and I'm a truck driver, so a lot of people that here illegally are driving trucks, and it's affecting our industry. And so I'm in favor of that. And then abortion. I'm pro-life.
Okay, so no, people that are in America with the status of being undocumented do not work as truck drivers. No.
They do.
You have to have documentation to work as a truck driver in America.
Yes, you do. But it's happening.
It's not happening, man. Okay.
Is there a way?
And by the way, if it is happening, they are doing something that is so totally incredibly illegal, and it is already being actively enforced and acted upon by law enforcement officials every single day.
It is, and
it is not just illegal, but it is enforceably illegal. Undocumented immigrants are not working as truck drivers in America.
Is there a way I could link to you the stories?
Link to me a story about what? What do the stories tell us?
Well, like what's going on? Like there's a lot of non-English speaking truck drivers, and
Jesus Christ,
they're being they are. I'm not making this up.
Jesus Christ,
and that is that's a rule to get your license. You have to speak English. So, and because I can't speak English, there's a lot of accidents happening.
Okay, we have a couple things to go over. And I saw someone say the first thing that we have to go over is just because somebody can't speak English doesn't make them an undocumented migrant.
No, it doesn't. That's not what I'm saying.
Why the hell did you say it does?
I was just also making another point.
So it's a completely new point. Okay. So did you know that in order to be a licensed CDL in America, you have to be able to read English?
Yes, you do. But that's not happening. And there's like over 100,000 people.
It is happening. Because guess what language the CDL tests are in?
English. But listen.
So every single person in this country that has a CDL license can fluently read English. Now, what do you need?
No, they can't. You're lying. You are lying. They cannot.
Yes, they absolutely can, or else they wouldn't have been able to pass the CDL test. And then also, I want it to be known that A, there is not a difference in the level of traffic incidents or accidents amongst professional CDL drivers based upon their ability to speak or to not speak English. And this is for two reasons. The first reason is because A, you just need to be able to read English in order to read road signs. And B, the way in which road signs are designed in America is for anybody to be able to follow them regardless of their ability to read the language. So that's why road signs in America often will use symbols to indicate different actions, okay? Not only for professional CDL drivers that can't speak English, but for Americans that can't speak English, for tourists that can't speak English, for people that will fly in from France and get a week-long motorcycle rental. Right? They can't speak English. They still follow the road signs because of the symbols, okay? So that's the way in which the road signs are designed. But I just want to be able to see if you could hold your logic consistent here. Are you a man that likes to go on vacation?
I am.
Okay, where do you like to vacation to?
I go to North Carolina. Just came back from Punta Cana.
Anywhere outside of America?
Punta Cana.
Where's that?
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. So do you think it should be legal when you're in the Dominican Republic to rent a moped to hang out and to drive around while you're traveling?
A moped is different from a commercial vehicle. I'm not saying
anything that could drive on the roads. A moped, a bike, a truck, a car. Do you think that it should be legal for you to rent any of those in the Dominican Republic while you're there? Yes or no?
No, and I don't think that should be the case here either.
So you don't think that you should be legally allowed to rent them?
No, you could rent them, and you could rent them here. If you're coming to this country, you don't speak English, you could rent a moped, a car. I'm talking about commercial vehicles. That's completely different. So I would not say I could go to the DR and drive tractor trailers there because I can't read the road signs.
Oh, I don't. Everybody with a professional CDL license in America can read the road signs.
That is not true.
It is.
People are getting CDLs handed to them, and a lot of drivers don't even have CDLs.
Oh my god. Okay, if they don't have a CDL, then they're not a professional driver.
And no, they're not. But they're finally. Trump put in an executive order like a week or two ago.
So can you
reiterating
I'd like to clarify once again that you've been lying to us. You have to be able to read English in order to be a licensed CDL driver.
I know. Yes, I know that's been a law, but it's not been enforced.
Oh my god! Can you please listen to me?
Okay.
It has been enforced. Do you want to know how it's been enforced?
How?
Because the CDL tests are in English. How would you be able to take a test that you can't read?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Because you could use mega carriers, hire drivers, and they let them take the test in their native language. It is true. You don't have to believe me. Look it up. I'm not making this up. I've been in this industry 15 years.
So wait, then how come we don't see higher accident rates amongst amongst drivers because of like their either immigration status or their ability to speak?
There was one in Colorado.
That's not true. We do not see discrepancies in accident rates. That's not true at all.
But there was a case in Colorado. The guy went down a mountain, couldn't read the road signs for the truck ramp, and killed 4 people.
Okay, hey, you're just fucking lying. Okay, his brakes.
No, I'm not.
Out.
Look
yes,
it up.
Bro, I live in Colorado. Okay, this
So
was
you know
this
what
was
I'm
the
talking
only
about?
thing that I heard about on the news for a month here. So A, you're just fucking lying. His brakes went out. B, it is the case that you can't point towards one example to indicate a generalization about what is true of an entire population. Okay, right? So more so, I'm asking you for evidence to indicate that on the macro scale nationwide, that there's higher levels of accidents amongst individuals that can compared to those that can't speak English.
I'm trying to give it to you, but you just muted me. And that accident that happened in Colorado.
So you gave me an instance of one case, and it was even a misrepresentation of that one case.
Listen, can I, I'm on my phone, if I exit out of the TikTok app, is it going to close the conversation?
No, you'll be able to come back onto the
Because there's one like every week.
I just won't be able to hear you.
Then don't worry about it. I just asked you to look it up on your own time.
I did because I've had the same debate one other time.
Yeah.
Okay, it is rare and it is not often that I will have racist truckers come onto this live and say that they support Trump because they're a racist trucker, but it's happened before. Okay, and the last time, yes, I absolutely am.
Of course you are.
Right. The reason why I'm calling you racist is because you equivocated people that can't speak English to being undocumented immigrants, and then you're holding unjustified prejudice against individuals that can't speak English merely because they can't speak English, but for no other reason whatsoever. Of course I'm going to call that racism. Are you kidding me? Like, if that's not racism, what is racism? Holy fuck. All right. But that aside, it's important to point out that I have had this conversation before, and I did look it up. There is no... there's no difference in propensity for accidents amongst professional drivers and their residency status, their immigration status, or their ability to speak or not to speak English. I've already done the research. There's no evidence to justify your claims. You're telling me to look it up. I already have.
You're just lying to your audience, but that's okay.
So then prove that I'm lying by giving me the evidence.
I can't because I can't pull up the stats on my phone right now because it will mute me.
Oh, you can't go pull up the stats and then come back? Unmute yourself and then give me the source? You can't do that?
You want me to do that?
Yes, I do.
I'm not saying again that there's a higher accident rate for undocumented people, but any accident is too many because they shouldn't even be driving the trucks. Also, like you said,
undocumented migrants are not working as professional CDL drivers.
They're not professional, but they are working illegally in trucks for themselves. They're working for. There's these carriers everywhere that pop up, and they run as many drivers as they can. Then they get shut down. They open up new DOT numbers. I mean, it's happening in our industry.
But I just want to clarify. Even if what you're saying right now is true, this doesn't concern Trump at all. Why? Because it's illegal. They get pulled over, they go to jail. If they got pulled over while Biden was president, they'd go to jail. If they got pulled over during Trump's first term, they'd go to jail. If they got pulled over under Obama, they'd go to jail. If they got pulled over under Bush, they'd go to jail. If they got pulled over under fucking Clinton, they'd go to jail. Just like when they'd get pulled over under Trump's second term, they'd go to jail. So how is the idea that some undocumented immigrants break the law and drive relevant at all to you supporting Trump?
Undocumented immigrants cannot get a CDL in this country. I understand that.
Andrea, boom. Andrea, hop in the queue. Hop in the queue. I've been waiting for this moment, Andrea. It is your time to fucking shine, okay? Opportunity fucking meets preparation. Andrea, hop in that queue for me. You guys are about to see a brutal beatdown and destruction. Andrea, I'm waiting for you to hop in that queue, okay? I'm waiting for you to hop in the queue. Please, 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 please join the guest request right now. I will bring you up onto the stream and start spamming the chat as well. You guys are about to see the beatdown of a lifetime. I mean, this is going to be brutal. I almost feel bad for this guy. Everyone, just give us a minute to get Andrea up in here.
Can I give one more point?
Well, how about we just have Andrea address and respond to everything you've said so far? Andrea, the mic is now yours.
Thanks, Dean. I have been waiting for this as well. So is it Daniel? Is that your name? I just want to make sure I'm getting that right.
Yeah, and while you talk, I'm just going to look some stuff up. So I know what Dean said that might mute my mic.
No, we've now just completely shifted what we're going to be doing on this live.
I want to make sure that you're here for this and paying attention. Because let me first, before we go any further, I always feel like it's important that I lay out my credentials to be able to say the things that I'm about to say. My family and we own 2 trucking companies. I have been running them since I was in college. I would love to tell you how old I am, but that feels awful. But it's been a very long time. I co-founded the largest wholly social media-based trucking advocacy group in the country. One of the 2 petitions that was written that got hours of service changed, which is the regulation that you follow every single day. I wrote one of those.
I don't know what that has to do with
I also sat on panels, multiple panels, and gave heavy input on the recent change in 2019 and 2022 to the entry-level driver training requirements. So, sir, I would like to let you know that, in fact, undocumented migrants, undocumented immigrants, and undocumented anything, whatever you want to call them, if they are not a United States citizen, the United States will not issue them a commercial driver's license. Now, could they have a domiciled commercial license from another country and come into our country? Yes, absolutely. But that is for specific loads or for specific projects or specific periods of time. In addition, there is not a single CDL test in the United States since the 80s that by law has been allowed to have been administered in a different language. Now, let's go to the executive order. No, absolutely not. I'm not done yet. No. So the executive order that you referenced only achieves a few things. One, it is to implement the law that is already on the books. The law that has been on the books since the 80s, that you have to be able to read, write, and understand English to receive a CDL and to operate a commercial vehicle. The other thing that the executive order aims to achieve is that an officer is to conduct a field test at roadside to test proficiency for English. And if that officer deems that that driver isn't proficient enough in English, can put said person out of service. I would like for you to tell me, and I don't want you to answer anything else. I want you to answer this very question. What does an out of service criteria that allows a driver to be put out of service for not being able to speak English, what does that achieve? That's the only question that I want answered. What does that achieve?
What does that achieve? It gets people that can't read our road signs, can't talk to. They're English. No.
I want you to answer that question.
I'm trying to.
Putting a driver that a officer subjectively says can or cannot read, write, and understand English, putting them out of service for a period of 10 hours. What does that achieve?
Well, if they get to drive again in 10 hours, that achieves nothing.
That's exactly right. Thank you. That achieves absolutely nothing except giving DOT officers the ability to put people out of service, which negatively impacts their CSA score, which could negatively impact the premium that they pay for insurance. And let's say that they get pulled over in, let's say Illinois, which is a get legal state. How the fuck is somebody supposed to learn English to satisfy an officer in a period of 10 hours to then just be allowed to go at the end of 10 hours because they've satisfied their out of service criteria. You're right. It achieves nothing. What it does is it, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. What it does is it allows officers to be fucking racist.
It does.
You're right. So what, again, tell me is the issue here? Because what we need to be doing is we need to be enforcing the laws that are already on the books and be proactive about ensuring that before we issue CDLs, not after, but before we issue CDLs, that these drivers can in fact read, write, and understand English. That's what we need to be doing. Those laws have been on the books since the 80s. They were additionally in 2019 and 2022. Ask me how I know, because I gave input on all of this to the Department of Transportation. That we
I don't know why we're debating. I agree with you.
Then tell me again why you think that it is such an issue that we have all these non-English speaking drivers out there that are causing more accidents and that are, you said, impacting your industry and taking your jobs. Well, what about the study that's put out by the American Trucking Association every single year? And for the past 5 years, we have been short anywhere between 50 to 80,000 drivers. You mean those jobs that the immigrants are taking? Those jobs that we've been short for years? No, that's not it. If you're talking about wages, well, if you own your own truck, you are the one that accepts the wage that you get. If you don't own your truck and you're working for a company that pays you too little, go get another job. Remember those 50 to 80,000 jobs that I was telling you about that were short?
I can read you some news stories right now that I just looked up really quick if you want to listen.
I mean, I'll listen, but I can probably debunk them, and you'd have to tell me what sources they come from. Because if you're telling me that they're coming from OIDA or CCJ or FreightWaves or Overdrive or something like that, no.
I just want to reiterate real quick, Daniel, you being able to specifically point out one or two circumstances of drivers that don't speak English getting into an accident doesn't make your claim that if you don't speak English as a driver, you're more likely to get in an accident true. Can you admit that?
Yes.
Okay, so then what is the purpose of these
Prove
news
it.
stories?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
So what
was the last point you said?
What news stories do you have, and what purpose do they serve?
Well, it's about companies hiring illegal. I mean, it goes. It's nothing to do with English speaking, but it goes to illegal, where companies are hiring illegal truck drivers.
Companies cannot hire illegal immigrants because they don't have a commercial driver's license.
Yeah. And then listen real quick.
Illegally.
You're just saying that they're illegally hiring.
No, they can't put them on the road because they would have to be put into a drug pool and into the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Your credentials have to be legally entered into the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse for the Department of Transportation, and those credentials are your commercial driver's license. If you don't have one of those, you can't be put into the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, meaning you can't get a drug test, which is pre-employment drug testing, which means you can't go on the road. That's not real.
You're not listening to me. And
I heard everything you said.
You're talking over me and keep muting me. And I'm saying, yes, they can't legally do that, but it's happening illegally.
What is Donald Trump? How's Donald Trump going to do anything about this that isn't already being done?
He shut down the border.
Okay, well, we'll have a conversation about immigration after you respond to Andrea absolutely whipping your ass as it relates to trucking.
You really didn't. She just said stuff that I already agree with.
I could think of one thing that she said that absolutely whipped your ass. You said that there's some professional CDL tests in which are issued in languages other than English. She whipped your ass by specifically, describing the fact that since the 80s, there's not been a single test issued by anybody that was legally allowed to be in any language but English.
Not by the DMV. You're correct in the DMV, but these bigger companies, she should know if she's in the industry, are putting these CDL tests in other languages so these drivers can pass so they could abuse them.
Wait, who controls the CDL tests?
These big companies are not the ones that are issuing CDLs.
It's the DMV.
They might be the...
Even I know this. I'm not a professional driver. I just drive a car, and I know that in order to get a license to be on the road, you get it from a United States DMV.
But here's the thing. You could do the written test through these companies.
No, you cannot.
Further.
No, you have to do it through a training provider. These regulations changed in 2019 and 2022. There is 3 portions of CDL testing. There used to be 2, where you used to have to, you didn't have to, you could have just gone to the DMV and taken the moving portion of the test, but there are some companies that did require classroom training. Not all companies didn't. For example, my father never took any sort of training because he had a chauffeur's license. My brother, for example, never took a day of training. He just went to the DMV and was able to take the moving portion of the test to get his commercial driver's license. All of those things changed in 2019 and 2022 when new entry-level driver training requirements, which is found in 49 CFR 395, or 49 CFR 395 is where it's found in the federal regulations. But what it did is it took the training regulations and ensured that every person has to take 3 sections, I guess, of training before you go and are able to be issued a CDL. The first one is classroom training. You are required to take classroom training. It is only to be delivered in English. The test is only to be delivered in English, and not a single portion of that testing can be conducted in any language other than English. Then you proceed on closed course training. That trainer cannot give any of that training or any corrections in anything other than English. Then you go on to open road testing where the same requirements apply. Those training regulations exist. They are there.
I already know.
Daniel, what
what
is your input specifically responding to what Andrea shared with us?
Because did you hear about the Massachusetts state troopers that got arrested for bribery because they're accepting bribes from people to give them their CDL? This is what's happening.
Okay, so can you
law.
respond specifically to what Andrea said? Because I don't want to waste her time. I want to make sure what she says is responded to.
Oh, I'm here, Dean. It's
agree
fine.
with
Don't
what
worry
she's
about it.
saying. And she's right. I'm not saying she's wrong, but there's illegal activity happening where people are getting
okay. Well, we'll have a conversation.
That's a different issue, though.
Yeah. So Daniel, she's right.
That's a completely different issue, sir.
That is a different issue.
That's completely different.
And we could talk about that, Daniel. If you just give me a second, Daniel.
Okay.
So that's a completely different issue, and I'll talk to you about that. Me and Parker will talk to you about that. Okay. The reason why we have Andre up in the live right now is to specifically correct you on your claims as it relates to what is legal. All right. As it relates to your claims about things that are illegal that are happening, that's where like me and Parker can come in. We could have a conversation about immigration. We can have a conversation about the state of undocumented immigrants working in America, etc. But do you have anything else that you want to say that relates to something Andrea could answer and respond to of what is illegal?
Oh no, because I agree with what she's saying, and she's right. I'm not debating. What she is saying is correct.
Perfect. Okay, Andrea.
I agree with her.
I think he's being very bad faith. I think he's very obviously shifting the goalposts. One of the very first things he said when he came up here was that it is legal to get a driver's test in a language other than English, but he is now affirming, he's conceded to what you've said, and he's just now merely arguing that illegal things happen. So me and Parker will kind of just take back over on that. We're going to have a conversation with him about immigration, I'd presume. And I really appreciate you for your time, and I think it's very awesome that you're so passionate about this.
Absolutely. And I am more than happy that if anybody has questions about the trucking industry, I can most definitely, if I don't know the answer, I know somebody that does. But at the end of the day, what really needs to be what the groundwork that really needs to be laid here is enforcing the laws that are already on the books. If bribery is happening, that doesn't mean that English wasn't the requirement to be given issued a CDL. If accidents are happening, that doesn't necessarily mean, and we have no evidence to prove that non-English speaking drivers are causing more accidents. That the data just doesn't exist. These are racist talking points that people want to vilify the trucking industry over. Thank you for your time, Dean. If you ever have any other questions about trucking, again, I will just spam you until you bring me back up.
Whenever trucking comes up on the live, hop in the queue. You'll be the first person I accept. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Sure. Thanks. You too.
Everybody, please show some love to Andrea down below in that chat. Now, as it relates to you, Mr. Daniel, okay, why do you support Trump? Because it sounds like everything that you just said insofar as what he is changing about the laws on the books isn't true. Okay, you've always had to understand and be able to read English in order to get a professional CDL license. So why do you support him? Also, welcome in, Parker. You're on mute, Daniel. You'll have to unmute yourself while you're figuring that out. I'd like to thank Noah for the $100 super chat over on the YouTube stream. Noah says he's a solid racist. Yeah, that's obvious. Thank you for the $100, Noah. Let's get 1,000 Noah W's down below in that comment section for the 100 big ones. Holy shit. As well as Desi with the $10 saying, Hitman, let's stop spewing hate towards women who are right. Thanks. And then Hitman with a 10 pounds, the 20 pounds, another 20 pounds. While I do appreciate you with another 20 pounds, with another 20 pounds, while I do appreciate you for in total over like 110 pounds in donations on YouTube Super Chat, I think Desi is right. I don't think that she was awful at all. I think that she was educating about something she's very passionate about. And I believe that does deserve to be pointed out. And Noah, thank you for the $20. And I learned a lot from her. Thank you. So do I. Every time we have Andrea up, she cooks. Every time she's up, she definitely cooks. As well as Grandpa, thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. And then Nina with the $10 as well. I'm all caught up over there now. I'd also like to thank Ellie with a $1 on PayPal, Megan with a $5, as well as Eric with a $15 over on Venmo. Let's get 150 W Erics down below, as well as Ellie with a 2 and Abigail with a 5. If you're watching and you like to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. Everybody, I do appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you guys so much once again. And if you are watching on YouTube and you like to support me, the same systems exist. You can find my Venmo, my PayPal in the pinned message on the YouTube stream. Now, Daniel, are you still with us?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
I sent you an invite.
Don't want to cut anyone off.
Right. Okay, there we go. So while I looked real quick, and there's many states that offer Spanish translations for the CDL test. You could Google that real quick and see what I'm talking about. Okay.
I'll look into that while you tell us why you support Trump.
So you want to know the reason? I'm pro-life.
Okay, you want to talk about that? But take it away. Talk to Parker about why you're pro-life while I look this up about the CDL translation.
I believe life starts at conception. And okay, I just want to say too that there's certain exceptions.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm so sorry. I've already looked it up. Yeah. So some states will often like the written portion of the CDL test in Spanish, meaning that you could write down your responses in Spanish, right? However, right, the skills test must be taken in English. So basically what that means is that still yet in all 50 states, it is a federal requirement that yes, you must be able to read English.
The skills test is not, you don't even have to talk during the skills test. All you're doing is driving.
Yeah, you have to read the road signs, which is kind of the point. It must be taken in English.
But they teach you, like the school teaches you the route, so you know the route, and they have a Spanish teacher telling you, like, where to stop.
No, the examiner gives you verbal instructions to follow, and those verbal instructions must be administered in English.
Well, that's beside the point, because you guys.
It's not besides the point, because you have to be able to understand, read, and be able to understand vocally English in order to be a licensed CDL in all 50 states.
Well, then why do they offer the written test in Spanish?
Because some individuals can understand English, can read English, but can't write English. Okay, and basically, they deem the two skills that are required to be a necessity insofar as safe conditions of driving to merely be one's ability to understand English and to read English. But they do not deem one's ability to speak English or write English themselves as a necessary requirement for safety on the road, in which I'd be inclined to agree with. I don't think that the ability to speak or write English is necessary at all in order to be a safe driver. However, obviously, all 50 states have agreed that in order to be able to understand and read English is in order to be a licensed professional CDL.
I just want to respond to somebody that said, how does this school know the route?
No, I want you to respond to me.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I just said what I just said is what I want you to respond to.
Sorry, can you repeat? But just a quick point.
You weren't listening. I'll repeat it for the last time. In all 50 states, you have to be able to understand English and read English. but you don't have to be able to speak English or write English. And I think that's fine, because understanding and reading English, in my eyes, is kind of the bare necessity, is like all that you need if you're going to be a professional licensed CDL. And that's something all 50 states have agreed on, but the ability to speak or write English is not required and not necessary at all, and I don't understand why it would be.
I have to look back. I'm pretty sure you have to be able to be fluent in English and be able to read it and write it. But can we just move on to abortion, because we're...
No, because I just debunked your claim.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did. You said that you don't have to be able to read and understand English to be a licensed professional CDL in all 50 states. That's not true. You do have to be able to read and understand English in order to be a licensed professional CDL in all 50 states.
You and the other girl just went on with me about 10 minutes saying they don't offer tests in Spanish, and I just showed you that they do.
You're just being intentionally dense at this point. As I already said, the section of the test in which is not required to be in English in all 50 states is the written portion where they could write their responses in Spanish. But they still have to be able to still necessarily understand English and read English for the driving test, where they have to be able to recognize and take verbal instructions from the instructor.
Okay. Listen, I'm not going to keep debating with this with you.
Because there's no debate to be had, because I'm giving you the facts.
No, because the facts are they have Spanish-speaking instructors that...
What did I just say?
I heard what you said, and
so you just said a fact is that they have Spanish-speaking instructors? No. The instructor must be speaking in English. It is always administered in English.
They're bilingual.
But the road test is always administered in English. That is a federal law.
Your chat is doxing me now and sending me text messages and calling me. Just so you know.
How do they get your number, bro?
I have no idea.
Don't do that, chat. Don't do that. But respond to what I'm saying.
Don't do that. Yeah, that's diabolical.
That's dude, don't do that, chat. I'm just being serious. I'm being serious. Don't do that.
The number that I heard the text messages.
Yeah, me too. So I believe it. I actually believe what you're saying. I heard the text messages.
I mean, this is the problem that we have, though, and I agree on both sides. Where you try and debate online, then people want to dox you and like harass you.
Okay, dude. The more you talk about it, the more it's gonna happen. Chat, if you're a friend of mine, don't dox him, but respond to what I'm saying, please. Dude, how could they have possibly found his number? He doesn't have anything on his account. He doesn't have any posts. He doesn't have any like connected social media accounts. He hasn't like spoken about where he's from. He has like no posts. He has no bio either.
There's no way they were connected, bro. I'm sorry. What?
Dude, yo, that's actually kind of nuts. Yeah, I got the FBI doxing you on this shit. Holy fuck. Okay.
I mean, I'm not scared of them or anything. I could block them, but it's just annoying. And it happens on both sides. I agree with that, and it shouldn't. I'm trying to have a good faith debate. I'm not a debater.
Okay, I don't think you're good faith, but I don't agree with you being doxxed.
Listen, I'm trying to be. And I'm coming at you as somebody who like sees the issues with the industry. I might not be 100% right in what's going on. I might be wrong, and I'm talking to you to try and learn too. And listen, I was a hardcore lefty, and then I switched to the right. I shouldn't even say the right. I'm trying to be like more in between.
Okay, so respond to what I just said, and then we can move on to abortion.
Can you repeat it? Because the whole texting thing kind of...
In order to be a licensed professional CDL driver in all 50 states, you have to be able to understand English and read English.
I agree.
Perfect. Abortion time. Why are you pro-life?
I believe life starts at conception.
Me too. So why do you think that women shouldn't be able to access abortion?
Well, it depends what they're accessing it for. If it's just because they made a bad choice, I think we need more education in this country, and I think birth control should be more easily accessible so this doesn't happen, whether it's condoms or pills or anything. I don't agree with just terminating life just because you made a bad choice.
Okay, why not?
Because it's a life. It's a human life.
Do you think it's wrong to end life?
Yes, it's wrong to end life.
Okay, are you vegan?
I'm not animal. Okay, you're trying to do you're vegan. No, I'm not vegan. Okay, I'm talking about human life.
So it's wrong to human life.
I'm not human life.
Okay, so you said that you just agree with birth control, right?
Yes.
And is an IUD a form of birth control?
And I agree with it. I'm not 100% abortion.
But IUDs kill human lives like all the time.
I know they kill the zygotes. They don't let it attach to the wall.
Precisely my point. So why is it wrong to kill a human life if it's a fetus, but not if it's a zygote?
Well, the zygote prevents the pregnancy from growing.
What?
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The what was it called?
Zygote,
The-
IUD, they kill the
No,
zygotes.
IUD. The IUD.
So once again,
prevents
the
it.
question that I'm asking you is, why is it wrong to kill a human life if it's a fetus, but it's not wrong to kill a human life if it's a zygote? What's different between the fetus and the zygote that makes the fetus valuable, but not the zygote?
I think the zygote is still valuable. And listen,
But
I
we have a contradiction, because if you're saying that the fetus is just as valuable as the zygote because they're both human lives, well, then why do you think it's wrong to kill one but not the other? That doesn't make any damn sense, Daniel.
No, you're right. And you know what? So then I don't think we should do IUDs then.
So it's murder. So you think it's wrong to kill a zygote?
I think it's wrong
Wait.
to end a life that is growing.
Hold on. Can I just ask the chat real quick? Anyone in the chat have an IUD? Type 3 in the comment section. Daniel, do you think all of the people who are typing 3 in the comment section in about 2 or 3 seconds, do you think every single one of them should go to prison?
Can I just say your chat is now trying to dox my business and they don't know anything about it.
Do you just want us to move on to the next guest?
No,
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
the
fine
best
with it.
way.
I'm a big boy. But I just want you to call it out. But
Yeah, we definitely disagree with doxing anyone and going and finding their information.
Nah, I just understand how the internet works. You talk about getting doxxed, you'll get doxxed more, regardless of what me and Parker say. So I'm gonna remove you from the live just so you're not getting doxxed more. Let's go and get the next guest up in the live at this point, y'all. We got the next guest loading in. Everybody, go ahead and drop a Maga down below in that comment section right now if you'd love if you'd like to come up. Desi with the $10 over on YouTube super chat says, "Please get a new guest," and we did. Like, I mean, he talks about getting doxxed. Like, me and Parker can condemn it all we want. It's only gonna cause it to happen more. That's the nature of the internet. We can't prevent it. So
Can I say thank you to Yo, Christian with $100 on PayPal. Can we get some W's for Christian in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. Let's get some W's for Christian in the comments for $100 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Christian. It's always good to see you. Always good to see you, Christian.
And then Brand, I think with $5 over on PayPal saying, please condemn your chat when they do bad things. Yeah, of course I condemn people who are doxing others. That is a bad thing. Lil Snack, what's up? How old are you? Dude, I'm sorry. Re-request. I kicked you because I didn't get like an auto answer, and then you started to talk right as I kicked you. So I'm sorry, man. Hop back in.
Did you hear stuff at the end? I didn't hear anything.
Hear what? Oh yeah.
Did you hear stuff at the end? I didn't hear anything.
He had just started to talk. We're gonna go to get that next guest up in here. Y'all let us know in that chat if you're MAGA. We will get you on the stream to have a conversation. Also, putting it out there, if you want to support me, support Parker. We have our Venmos, PayPals, and the links in our bios, in the link trees. That's right. We get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms, as well as you'll get a shout out. And you can attach a message that we will read off on live. What's up, baby? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
35.
35. I would prefer to just about call you anything but baby. So what's your name? What
That's
can I call you?
fine. You can just call me always.
Always. I'll call you A. So A, why do you support Trump?
With me, it's about debt to GDP, fiscal policy, and AI and RPA.
The GDP. Well, what's happened to the GDP so far in the first quarter of 2025? Was it up or down?
It's down.
Really? Was the GDP of any other developed country in the world up or down in the first quarter of the same year?
I'm not sure.
No, the answer is no. Okay, so you
And then also, what was the real GDP trend for the past many quarters, several quarters? Was it multiple percentage points of real GDP growth?
Yes.
Wow.
Until Trump got into office?
So why would you support the seemingly like regressive and harmful policy, sir?
Because it's the nature of a trade war. We're in a consumer economy, so in the short term, we're going to experience that pain. So this is it's logical for our GDP to go down for the time being.
It's logical for it to go down for the time being. So what like obviously that's probably like not the outcome of his policy that you support. So what is like the Trump economic policy that you do support? Tell us what it is.
Or what
Sure.
evidence
So-
do you have that it's going to be beneficial in the long run?
Yeah, so just in context, and I'll try to be concise. Would you agree we're a service economy for the most part?
Mostly so.
Right. So we have service economy, manufacturing, more service than manufacturing. With the technological advances of artificial intelligence impacts service economies the most. RPA, robotics, process automation, would impact manufacturing the most, right? Robots for manufacturing, artificial intelligence for services, just to frame it that way. So it's imperative for us as an economy to bring back as much manufacturing as possible, because with the advancement of artificial intelligence and robotics, a lot of workers are going to be displaced because a lot of multinational companies are going to.
Well,
That displacement also applies to manufacturing. Also, there's more manufacturing increase under the Biden-Harris administration. Dean's going to show you a graph right now. We're going to see a massive increase in manufacturing investment in the United States under the Biden-Harris administration, which was practically stagnant the entirety of the Trump administration.
Oh, I don't deny that, right? So, I mean, that's.
I don't know where the image is. I don't know where the right image is. Buddy, so the issue here is, I don't think that Donald Trump is bringing more manufacturing into America.
Well, he is, right? And
how? What is he currently doing to bring more manufacturing into America?
Well, it's a multitude of things. So
be
one
specific.
Yes. So first, with the trade war isn't about only about tariff rates, right? It's also about trade
I didn't
barriers
ask
as
you
well.
what the trade war is about. I asked you how Donald Trump is bringing more manufacturing into America. Just waiting for a clear answer.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of the equation,
Okay, so
right?
land the
Because
plane.
that's part of it. So if you are promoting domestic investment by penalizing foreign investment and foreign outsourcing and operations, that's part of it.
How is he currently penalizing outsourcing operations to other countries?
Well, because he's promoting that if you make cars in the U.S. or assembled, then you're not going to be penalized with tariff.
Tariffs are paused, right?
Yeah. What tariffs?
What do you mean? What tariffs?
What fucking
What tariffs? They're paused, right?
Yeah. What tariffs are you talking about? He tried that, then he dropped it because it didn't work.
There's the baseline tariffs, and then there's retaliatory.
What
happened to Art of the Deal?
Yeah, what tariffs? What tariffs are in effect right now that are penalizing companies that are outsourcing to other countries? Which ones?
What tariffs?
Yeah, what tariffs has he impacted that are in effect right now penalizing outsourcing to other countries?
Well, he has a global baseline tariff of 10% that's active.
Is that true?
Yes, that's true. What he paused was the reciprocal tariffs.
Okay, Parker, do you know if he sells a global baseline
certain
of 10%
trade deals
on every other country in the world?
I don't know if he has on 10%.
No, I think he has a baseline of 10% on China.
I know he has one on specifically China. I think it's 30% on China actually.
Well, it's like the baseline 10 plus 20. So that was like the justification insofar as like what he was saying.
Oh, he left.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the next guest, I guess. He left. Unfortunate. Let us know in that chat of your MAGA. We will get you up here onto the live right now, everyone. Let's just go and get that next guest up right now. What is going on? Hayden, do you support Trump?
I wouldn't say I support Trump, but
Okay, then I'm gonna kick you. Have a good one. Quite frankly, have a base day. Have a great day. Let's go to get that next guest up in the live right now. Holy shit. Yo, Scar, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. Saying last guest said that American businesses were breaking the law by hiring non-English speaking CDL drivers. Then trying to shift the blame to the non-English speaking CDL drivers. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. It only matters when people break the law, not companies, right? Isaac, thank you for the $6 over on Venmo as well. Shout out to Isaac and Scar, guys. Shout out to Isaac and Scar while we get that next guest. Bria up in the live, just looking for that next debate of the evening. Do keep in mind, just looking to talk to some MAGA, to some Trump supporters.
Just looking for Trump supporters.
That's right,
just
everybody.
Looking for Trump.
That's right, everybody. Just looking for the chomps. For the chomps, where are all the chomp supporters?
The chomps. Where's the chomp supporters?
Sid! Thank you for the $100 super chat over on that YouTube stream. Holy shit, Sid. Sid says, hi, Dean. Hope today's been well so far. You know what? It has been a good day, Sid, and it's even better now that you're here with us. Everybody show some love to Sid in that chat. Queen Sid back once again. What's up, dude?
Yeah, your lady lied about the CDL thing. I got my CDL when I was a permanent resident, so you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to get your CDL. And what people do is they will steal somebody's identity and then use that to drive. So they'll have a cousin or something, and then they'll take that cousin's identity and use it to drive illegally.
So as it relates to your first claim that you could be a permanent resident and get a CDL license, I believe that. I mean, like permanent residents.
Yeah, I'll show you my CDL license right now if you doubt it. I mean, I got one.
Well,
I
just said that I just said that I believe that.
Right.
Is that's like a legal tenant of residency in America.
Right.
So
And I'm
why
a super.
why do you support Trump?
I support him because he's America first. He's going to stop unfettered illegal immigration that's going to damage the fabric of America. It's leading to high crime.
Holy Hitler, holy Hitler, holy Hitler.
It's leading to.
This reminds me of Hitler when you're like, they're poisoning the blood of this country, damaging. Anyways,
right.
continue.
It's displacing historical minority groups. You can see what's happening in places.
Replacing? How do immigrants replace?
Displacing, not replacing, displacing.
Okay. How is it displacing?
Right. So in Chicago, for instance, there are African Americans who do not get benefits because they're going to all the people who are here illegally. I think that is a disaster.
Wait, what specific benefits?
Whatever benefits, housing, they're throwing people off. There are many news reports where people don't get housing because the housing is earmarked for illegals.
Okay, so so you should refer to people who are in the country undocumented, or is it people who are through the asylum process?
They have a country. The United States
are the people you're referencing going through the asylum process?
The United States is not responsible for the welfare of the citizens of the world.
I'm just asking, are the people you're referencing going through the asylum process, because that's a legal process in the country?
Right. So some are. Some just attach themselves to an asylum process to get in the door.
Can you
to clarify? You're talking about legal. He's talking about legal immigrants, and what he's also referencing is systems of social services that are underfunded. Why are these systems of social services underfunded?
Can I just ask a quick question? Can you please give us any evidence of like funding for citizens of low income for housing, like public housing or Section 8 rental assistance? Can you give us any evidence that those systems anywhere in America have been defunded to fund systems that benefit?
Yeah. Do you take news articles as evidence? Because I can show you some in New York. In fact, your mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, fell out with the Democratic Party because he told them that he was sick and tired of displacing his residents to put in illegals in place, and then they hit him with.
Okay, can I give you an idea? Can I give you an idea here? So I actually do think that there's been suboptimal conditions that have been created in large democratic metropolitan areas because of the fact that those are some of the only areas in America where undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers can live without direct persecution from their immediate local or county government, right? I feel like what we need to do. No. What we need to do, right? If we want to create systems of support that exist for everybody that are better optimized, is to create that change on the national scale. Okay, I think that all undocumented immigrants in America that have not committed violent offenses should be offered a pathway to residency or citizenship and the ability to freely live anywhere in America under that new founded residency or citizenship. And I think that we should then turn around and slow undocumented entry into the country by fixing the root problem, which is slow, neglected, and depraved legal means of entry into America. So we eradicate the issue of undocumented entry, and we eradicate the issue of undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers only being able to receive some baseline level of benefits or honestly just fair treatment in a couple sanctuary cities to every city in this country. Sounds good to me. Does it sound good to you?
No, economic prosperity is not manna from heaven, right? People developed economic prosperity. America cannot bear the brunt of 80 million people who are going to flood into the country, who live in third world countries for a reason.
Well, here's the issue, and I'll let you explain that they live in third world countries for a reason. Comment after I say that, because that was crazy. But here's the issue: immigrants actually help the economy, even if they're undocumented. Did you know that? Yeah. So undocumented immigrants, how much do you think they pay in taxes per year?
They don't.
So actually, they do, according to the IRS, undocumented immigrants. No, right? So you're going to listen to me. According to the IRS, undocumented immigrants pay $100 billion in taxes every year on the federal, state, and local level. Not to mention, they also contribute $300 billion to the American GDP per year. And not to mention, they get lower wages compared to citizens because they have less Sorry, I'm tripping up. I have a stutter. Sometimes it's more prevalent than other times. Because they have a less of an ability to negotiate better wages with their employers compared to citizens, because it's easier to exploit them. We give them citizenship, we give them residency. All of a sudden, without changing their material conditions, they get higher wages, which means they will go from contributing $300 billion to the GDP per year to more than $300 billion to the GDP per year. And they'll go from paying $100 billion in taxes per year to more than $100 billion per taxes in a year. So this argument that it's just not economically sustainable is actually false, as they benefit the economy. And they'll only benefit it more if they're given that pathway to residency or citizenship.
Yeah, that's a complete lie. They send more money out of the country than they put.
Wait. Prove.
You haven't proved yours,
facts
though.
I just shared with you were the
You haven't proved anything.
Sure,
Show me the source.
Sure, I have the IRS in the House.
Trust me, bro. Oh, trust me, bro.
Wait. You think me saying the IRS in a study done by the House Republicans?
That's not proving anything. I can say the IRS too. I can say the IRS is my source too.
Duel, can I ask you a question? What's your source?
What's my source? I can pull up a source.
What would that be?
Yeah, it's just from their general knowledge. I can pull up many articles that I read about the problem of legal immigration and how it drains.
Go ahead. Can you give me any evidence that it's
how it drains things like
how it's harmful to the economy?
I'm going to be clear about I'm going to be clear about my source, and then you be clear about your source. So this is coming from House.gov, from House Republicans. To find the source, just look up House.gov. Undocumented immigrants, $100 billion in taxes per year. You will then be given a PDF on House.gov that is 6 pages long that highlights that this is true, and then provides the link to the external source, which is coming directly from the IRS, as well as the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. And that demonstrates that, yes, they are paying $100 billion per year in taxes. So what's your source that they're not?
Right. My source is the drain that they have on emergency medical services, like the emergency room. They use the emergency room as their healthcare.
Well, we'll get on to that, but I want to clarify.
Right, they don't pay for the services, that doesn't dispute what I said at all. The cost of healthcare higher for all of us.
Wait, but this is a whole new argument. You're not proving my argument wrong, because you said that undocumented immigrants pay $0 in taxes per year. I just gave you 3 sources that say otherwise. House Republicans, the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, and the IRS. You said I was wrong and that I was just giving you a trust me, bro. So what is your source to demonstrate that they don't pay $100 billion per taxes in a year? By the way, just saying that they drain resources from emergency rooms is not doing that.
All right. Since you refused to show an article, I'm going to look it up real quick.
Wait, buddy, I just gave you the fucking source. I spoke it into existence. I told you.
Right, I'm going to check your
House.gov, undocumented immigrants, $100 billion.
No. I don't want propaganda from the Biden administration.
Wait, under the Biden administration, this was released the day after Trump's inauguration on January 22nd, 25, and this source is from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. No, this was not under the Biden and the Harris administration. This was literally under the Trump administration. January 22nd, 2025.
Yeah, that's why it was
under
propaganda,
the Trump
Dean.
administration.
That's why it was propaganda, Dean.
Yes. This
because it was under Trump.
Was uploaded on House.gov under the Trump administration. And then keep in mind, this is coming from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy and the IRS, buddy. Okay? And by the way, even Donald Trump recognizes that undocumented immigrants pay taxes to the IRS.
The IRS is just not a real government agency, dude.
The reason
it's
why...
not real, only Doge.
The reason why I know that even Trump recognizes that undocumented immigrants pay taxes to the IRS is because 3 weeks ago, he publicly went to the IRS and ask them for their records of the undocumented immigrants that pay taxes to them.
Right.
So
So
now this fact has been affirmed by the IRS. This fact has been affirmed by House Republicans. This fact has been affirmed by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. And this fact has been affirmed by Donald Trump personally. How could you possibly tell me that I'm wrong, you little weasel? Take it away.
Right. So, Dean, I'm old enough to be your grandfather, so you're the little weasel.
I'm not calling you a weasel because of how many times you've been around the sun. I don't think that determines how mature you are.
Dean.
You aren't.
Little Dean, so the tax stuff you talked about was a total lie. These taxes you're talking about are local taxes, like the consumption taxes, because they buy gas, they eat food, so they pay taxes because they buy gas and eat food. Because if you don't buy gas and eat food, you can't go to work and you can't live. Federal income tax, they don't contribite much. They take more from the federal government than they put in. Right. So
but now
why don't you stop
that's
lying?
a totally different claim. I'll refute and disprove that. No. No ands, ums, or buts. No. I will absolutely refute the claim that they take out more than they put in, but that claim is completely distinct and separate than the claim that you made that I was wrong that they pay $100 billion in taxes.
They pay $90 billion in 2023. $90 billion.
Okay.
As of 90 billion. And most of it is in local state taxes, consumption taxes, because they have to eat food, they have to buy things, and items are taxed.
Do you agree that tax number would be higher if you gave them mass amnesty?
No, I think if you give them mass amnesty, it would bring in all their relatives from the third world. It would degrade the nation.
How would it degrade the nation?
You would become a person.
How would it degrade the nation? How would more immigration degrade the nation?
Because they cause higher crime. That's why.
Oh, okay. Did you know that immigrants, undocumented and illegal immigrants, commit less crime than natural-born U.S. citizens? You also voted for a criminal that was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman that released violent criminals into the country.
Trump has never been a criminal. He's not a criminal.
He is. But first, acknowledge what Parker just said. So he just shared with you a very specific. No. You said that undocumented immigrants are more likely to commit crimes. Did you say that?
I never said that. I said they raise the crime rate. I didn't say they're more likely.
That's just wrong.
Okay. Well, see the reason why that's wrong.
No, it's not.
The reason why that's wrong. Can we agree that a crime rate is per capita?
Right. It's likelihood. It describes.
Okay. So the only way that undocumented immigrants would raise the crime rate, raise that per capita rate, is if they were at a higher likelihood, right? Right? They can't raise that rate.
No, that's not exactly true. It depends on what area of the country they go in.
Okay. Tell me how undocumented immigrants can raise a per capita crime rate if they are 2 times less likely to commit violent crimes than natural U.S.-born citizens.
Right. The reason
2.5 times less likely to commit property crimes than natural U.S.-born citizens, and 3.5 times less likely to commit petty crimes than natural U.S.-born citizens. In fact, the fact is, undocumented immigrants in America reduce per capita crime rates.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
My source is the PNAS. What's yours?
Right. So
let me hear the source.
The reason that generally they don't commit crimes is because they know if they commit crimes, they will be deported.
I think that's a fine reason, but that reason goes to show that they're less likely to commit these crimes, meaning that they reduce per capita crime rates.
So you're adding the whole group, the women, the children. If you just tease out the males, right? You don't get that.
Also wrong. Because it is the case that men commit 92% of all violent crimes. Undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to commit all violent crimes. So if you tease out the 8% of those violent crimes that are committed by undocumented immigrants that are women, they would still be less likely to commit violent crimes. And in fact, I'm so confident in this claim that I'll prove it to be right by asking you one question. Go ahead and give me a source that demonstrates that if you just tease out the men and you compare undocumented men compared to documented men, the undocumented men are more likely to commit violent crimes. Go ahead and give me a source that demonstrates that is true.
I'm sorry, ask that again because I was looking up their crime rates.
Yeah, give me your source that shows that undocumented immigrants that are men are more likely to commit violent crimes than documented immigrants and or citizens that are men.
And then he'd also be okay with unlimited women coming to the country because they're less likely to commit crime.
Right. So, well, it depends on
Right.
what their usage is. Like, what's the point?
What their
are they
usage
good for?
is? What?
Yes. What are they going to be good for? What are they going to contribute?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, what are they going to contribute? Okay,
Yeah,
you
what are
understand that undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants contribute
he's
more to the
using you to
economy
pivot,
because
Parker.
they have a higher labor force participation rate than natural-born U.S. citizens. But I'll let you go back to Dean's point.
He's
Right,
using
so
you
what
to
would-
pivot. He's using you
Right.
to
So,
pivot.
Dean, no, I'm not. No. So, Dean, I've got here their total criminal convictions by type, right? And I see here now. I don't have it. I would have to pull up the FBI crime statistics. But I'm not sure if they tease out illegal crime versus legal crime. But I see here, for instance, I believe in 2022 there were 1,142 incidences of assault, battery, and DV. There were 864 instances of burglary, robbery, larceny, theft, and fraud. Driving under the influence, which is a huge one they commit because they have a huge drink.
Boom! I muted you. The reason why I muted you is because I want a source that shows that undocumented immigrants that are men are more likely to commit all crimes and or violent crimes than natural U.S.-born citizens or legal residents that are men. Take it away and give us that source. Feel free to unmute. Sent you the invitation. Take it away.
They have no right to be in the country, so it doesn't matter what they do versus citizens. The fact that they commit crimes in the first place. Dean, can you explain to me why there were 2,844
holy
incidences
I have a question.
of driving under the
I
influence?
have a question. If criminals aren't good enough to be able to be allowed into the country, then are you saying they should be allowed to be president too?
Donald Trump is not a
He
criminal.
shouldn't. He
Donald
literally
Trump
is by definition
a
convicted
process
criminal.
crime, a paperwork process crime that the Democratic administration and Alvin Bragg turned into felonies in order to stop him from winning an election in which he still won.
What?
He
Okay,
won,
so
he won bigly, all 7 swing states, bigly. He won bigly.
he didn't win
Maga
bigly.
rules the
He won by a lower level of percentage than what Biden won by.
Guess what? He won by more than Kamala Harris.
You're
did.
letting this guy get away. You're letting him get away.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No,
I'm sorry.
I want
everything
you-
comes
I
out of
want
his
you-
mouth is wrong.
I know.
Dean, it's like everything that's wrong is wrong.
I want you to go for it, okay? Right? I want you to go for it. But I feel like right now you're being too kind. And the reason that I say that is because he got away from his claim that undocumented immigrants that are men are more likely to commit violent crimes. And then he said that he's not a criminal.
they were
He got
more
away
likely.
from
I
that
said they
by saying that he
raised
won bigly.
crime.
So no, Parker, I'm
They
not going to
contribute to
overspeak you.
crime.
One moment, sure, quite frankly, I'm not going to overspeak you. I want you to be able to come up here and have some debates as well. I feel really bad when I'm just talking the whole time. But take it away, all right? But grill this motherfucker, okay? Don't let him escape.
They
Did you hear Duel? Did you hear what he said? Do you want him to repeat it?
Right, I
before
heard
we
what he
start?
said. They contribute to crime.
Then repeat what he said first.
Right. He claimed erroneously that I said that they have a higher crime rate. I never said that.
You liar! I heard you say that.
Yo,
I
YouTube
said
chat,
they
give me the
con-
timestamp. Give me the timestamp, YouTube
Said
chat.
they raised the crime rate.
Give me the timestamp.
They raised the crime rate because they contribute to crime.
You liar!
They actually
You're
commit
literally
crime.
such a liar.
Yeah.
I remember.
Chat,
I
give me-
actually remember you saying that. You literally
Chat.
said that they have
No,
a
no,
higher
I said
crime
they
rate.
contribute
You said
to
that they would increase the crime rate when
Right.
actually, like, if it is the case that undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants commit multiple times lower rates of violent crime, drug crime, and property crime, they would actually lower the rate of crime as percentage of the population
that's
if
the
they're taken into
silliest-
account within the population statistics. So
That's
actually,
so
what you're
silly.
doing is completely disingenuous and a total lie because it would actually decrease the crime rates.
And then on top
Parker.
of that,
Parker.
you explicitly argued, and now this is the timestamp that I'm waiting on for my YouTube chat. You explicitly argued that it is the case that undocumented immigrants that are men are more likely to commit crimes than men that are permanent residents or citizens. Do you remember arguing that?
It depends on what group, but if you look at like the Haitian population, they're more criminally inclined than, let's say, native-born
my God.
white men in America.
Oh my fucking
Wait.
God. So
Wait. What did you just say? Say that one more time. What the fuck?
So it depends on the immigrant population you're looking at. If you look at Haitian illegal migrants, they are more likely to commit crimes than native white men in America.
Why is the basis of what you're comparing to native white men in America? Why is that the comparative basis?
Because they're a native group.
You think white men are a native group in North America?
What do you think?
I'm
Parker,
sorry.
you are native to North America.
What do you think?
No, I'm fucking not.
What do you think?
absolutely,
You've been here
hello? Are you sentient?
No. I have a question.
Parker,
What do you
you've been
think?
here for multiple generations.
What do you
you are
think,
native.
What do you think the word native means?
Right. Native means that native is not aboriginal. You're thinking aboriginal. I'm saying native.
Don't tell me what you don't think it is. Tell me what you do think it is. What
Right.
do you think the word native means?
Being born in a particular landmass.
Okay, so let me
Right.
get this straight. The children of undocumented immigrants born in America are not only legal citizens, but they're also native to America.
Well, I think it needs to be reversed. I think they're taking
Wait,
advantage
why?
of.
Why they're natives?
Right. Well, their parents aren't. Your parents are native here.
Wait, would you agree with me that the children of undocumented immigrants born in America are native Americans?
No, I think they're native to the. I think they're
But
native.
by the
to
way,
country
how does
their
he
parents
know
come
whether
from.
or not I'm native? My parents could be immigrants. He's just assuming because I'm white.
Oh
I'm
my
native.
God, you're right.
What
Why
a
did you
fucking weirdo.
assume that he's like native and that his parents were born here because he's white?
Because I've heard him speak for years at this point, and
Tell us anything about his parents.
I'm pretty sure that he's
Tell
You
us
don't
anything
know.
about
You
his
don't know
parents.
anything about like my parents.
Parker. I'm pretty sure that you're native to America. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure you have at least one parent that was also born in America. Like that's pretty evident.
Okay, wait. So if both of your parents were born in America, even if they are, even if like their parents are immigrants, does that make you native?
I think when you get to the third generation, nativity becomes an argument
Why is it specifically the third generation?
because you're so distant from where you're so distant from where you came from, and your linkages to the current place you're in is.
I think the great thing about America is that when you become a citizen, you become an American. Right at that point. I don't know this whole point of what you're bringing up of being quote unquote.
But America has an
like
identity.
me being native. Like that's like a really weird concept that you're trying to bring up. Or why don't we just reference the facts
America
of
has an
reality
identity.
that you are an American, right? If you come to this country, and that American is not something we should gatekeep, and that America is a place where people can come from around the entire world for a better life, not only for themselves, but for the people that are currently living here. Because immigrants that are coming to the country will create a greater level of a workforce that will be able to pay for Social Security and Medicare, right? That we are literally losing the ability to be able to pay for in the long run because conservatives are not funding these programs because they want massive tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. So why don't we specifically, right, engage in policy that not only benefits immigrants, but also benefits people who are living in the United States, because it's positive for both sides. It's mutually beneficial for everyone. Immigration is a great thing and is foundational to the values of this country. You believing that this country needs to stay the same, right, is antithetical to the nature of what this country should be in terms of progression, constantly changing, right? Us adopting new cultures, being a melting pot for around the entire world is a great thing. It's a unique thing that we should be proud of in this country.
Right. So if those people were so capable of building up a nation, they wouldn't have had a need to come here. There are people that come from certain.
That's for like everyone in this country.
Well, no,
everyone in this country
that's not true.
has come to this country, whether it be through religious
not true.
persecution, whether that be through persecution based upon gender, whether that be persecution based upon your sex, whether that be persecution based upon so many different immutable characteristics, right? This country should be seen as a place where you can come to seek asylum because it is a place for safety, security, and freedom. That's what it should be seen
Also,
as, a beacon for security,
also,
hope, and freedom.
Did you just say that if like these people, quote unquote, were capable of building a great nation, then they would have come here?
Yeah.
Didn't you at the start of this conversation say that you yourself are an immigrant?
Yeah, my parents brought me here. I didn't come here by choice. My parents brought me here.
Okay, so if
And
you
they
could
brought me here
choose,
from-
if you
from a
could
fi-
choose, like you would have stayed in the country in which your parents came from, and you because you're like capable.
Personally, I would have. Yes, personally, I wouldn't have come to America.
So like you're so fucking anti-immigration. You're so anti-immigration that you're even against your own immigration.
to America.
That's like, okay, that's got to be like, I got to say, that's one of the
That's
wilder
crazy.
things I've heard. That's like one of the
Right.
wilder things I've heard. I'm not
I'm
gonna lie.
grateful. Right, I'm grateful to be in America, but I know that if 10 million people come here from where I came from, they would not advance the country. I understand that.
You feel like you advance the
Why?
country?
Why?
Do I feel like I advance the country?
Yeah.
I think I benefit from the country more than I advance it.
So you're so
okay.
anti-immigration that you do you pay taxes?
Yes, I pay taxes.
How much do you pay in taxes?
When I had a business, I paid a lot. It was annoying, but
So you're a business owner that paid a shit ton of taxes. How could you possibly benefit more from the country than what you give to the country?
because I would never have had the opportunity had I not been in this country.
I don't understand. how that
Wait,
answers
so if you believe that you're a net loss, right? Then why are you blaming other people for being quote unquote net losses?
Right, because they're economic migrants. They're not here to make the country better. They're here to get from the country.
That's not true. That's not true.
Are you here to make the country better?
Wait, also, I just want to point out, like, actually, we were having this conversation earlier, and like, we never got to finish it out. So, undocumented immigrants pay more in taxes than they get in benefits.
It's not true.
Okay.
You're talking about consumption taxes, which everyone pays.
Okay, so go ahead and prove me wrong.
Right. They don't pay any more than anyone else who consumes in America pays. If you buy a car, you got to pay taxes.
Right.
If you buy chicken, you got to pay taxes.
Right.
If
So there's other local level taxes. So I mean, you said it yourself.
Yeah,
in
so
the fiscal
that's
year
just what they're
of
doing.
2023, for instance, they paid $90 billion in taxes. In the fiscal year of 2022, they paid $100 billion in taxes. So go ahead and demonstrate to me all of the benefits that undocumented immigrants received in those 2 years were more than $100 billion and $90 billion. Take it away.
Right. I talked about the emergency rooms, how they
Emergency
suck
rooms.
up. Right.
Yeah.
They
So
suck
how
up
much
that.
does Medicare expense out per year for uninsured people in emergency rooms?
I'll have to look that up.
I know it's
when
around
they-
$17 billion. So undocumented immigrants only account for a fraction of the uninsured individuals that use emergency rooms. But even if we were to assume that every uninsured person that used an emergency room that had their bill covered by Medicare was an undocumented immigrant, they're still paying 5 times in than what they're taking out. So what else?
Right. So if they were such a net positive to the country,
No.
then
You're proving that they're not by demonstrating the different benefits they receive. So far, you've been able to calculate undocumented immigrants that receive emergency room benefits paid for by Medicaid because they're uninsured individuals. Okay, I detailed to you how that
the
is
free
not sufficient
education
in
that their
demonstrating.
children get,
Well, their children are citizens.
some are, some aren't.
Well, that's the thing. A disproportionate amount of the children of undocumented immigrants are, yes, born in America.
Right, so they have- so the children they have-
when you say that it is the case that they're benefiting via money expensed through the education system, that's not money going to undocumented immigrants. It's going to citizens. And now, for like the 10% of children that are not citizens themselves and are undocumented immigrants, okay, well, I still think that is a long-term ROI. That's not draining resources. That is investing in our future, okay? And this is true for the children of everybody in America. That's true for all children going to school in America. And I just want to say that this is probably the worst fucking argument against undocumented immigrants that anybody could ever make. You're literally telling me that you think it is such a drain on the American economy and it is such a bad thing that some undocumented immigrants are getting an education to be a part of a more highly skilled labor force that will reap on average an additional $700,000 throughout their life just by seeking a high school diploma. Okay, so they're only going to be providing more into the American economy long term. They're only going to be paying more in taxes in the long term, and they're only going to be strengthening our labor force with more highly skilled and more highly educated laborers in the long term.
They don't do high school jobs. They do low wage jobs. They cut grass. They cut grass and they clean hotels and they sweep floors. That's not going to revolutionize the American economy.
Okay. Well, for you to assume that all undocumented immigrants do what you deem as a stereotype of an undocumented immigrant, like cleaning floors or cutting grass, tells me all I need to know about you. Okay, you're obviously just a disgusting coward. But then secondarily,
This is so fucking gross, dude.
Even if all
So,
documents in America,
job is a job.
all of undocumented immigrants in America were working in jobs such as the ones that you just named, as you just said, a job's a fucking job. wow, look at this guy that is shitting on laborers earning an income and paying taxes to make the country better. Look at this guy shitting
The
on
money they send out of the country,
$300 billion, $300 billion in the American GDP per year.
What about the remittances, Dean? What about how they hurt the American economy by pumping
Give any economic evidence indicating that, please.
by pumping out billions of dollars out of the American economy into
What's the economic evidence?
remittances? What you want me to? I'll look it up.
Go give me any study that indicates
I will
that,
look up the amount of
that
remittances.
undocumented immigrants are negative to our economy.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me
Wait,
pull
then
it up.
also I thought that you're a fiscal conservative. I thought that you believe in individuals' liberties and freedoms, but all of a sudden you're going to be
For
shitting
American
on
citizens,
you're going to be
not for the
shitting
whole
on
world.
people that are doing what they want with their money when it doesn't negatively harm her or affect you. And also, you don't
It
get
does harm America.
you don't get a money out of the economy that you owe to the IRS. Once again, $100 billion per year. And second of all, undocumented immigrants are not at a higher likelihood to send money out of the economy than legal immigrants.
Yes, they are. Why are you telling a lie? Yes, they are.
Okay, so demonstrate that to us.
Right. I'm going to give you the number of remittances that are sent out of the country by illegal immigrants. Give me 1 second to pull it
Compared
up.
to legal immigrants. This guy's all over the place. Hitman, I appreciate you
This
for the
guy's
love over on YouTube
ridiculous.
Super Chat. Maggie, thank you so much for the $10. Saying, I thank you for doing what you're doing, not just debating, but educating people. Literally the way to save our democracy. I appreciate you for your kindness, Maggie. As well as Adam, thank you for the $20 over in Super Chat saying I'd trade. Yeah, thank you for the $20. It's incredibly kind of you, Adam. As well as Phantom, thank you for the $10 as well. Thank you so much, Phantom. And then Nina and Noah, both with a 5. I would also like to say, Kira, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Thank you so much, Kira says, I work in healthcare in a health center that serves immigrants. The drain is lack of health insurance, not the immigrants. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why mass amnesty is a good idea. And then she goes on to say that when given health insurance, we see more people with jobs and healthier populations as a whole. Maybe that's why we should support universal health care. As well as Danielle, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, saying keep it up. Thank you, Danielle. And then Dahlia, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. And then let me go ahead and check over on PayPal. Once again, Scar with another 5 and Macy with a 5. Thank you so much.
By the way, there's a Trump policy that's going to tax.
Hold up. The person who just joined the live said that we're modern day panhandlers.
Oh,
I want to see if they're trolling.
Really? SJ, do you think that?
Oh, Parker, you don't remember me?
I don't.
Oh,
who are you?
Sweetheart. Oh, of course you don't.
I'm sorry. I'm confused.
Yeah, y'all are little 20-year-olds that have done nothing with y'all's lives.
Really?
But
can I tell you a little
been
bit about
indoctrinated.
SJ,
Oh no!
Can I tell
I
you?
don't know, Dean.
This
You
is
are
a
the biggest piece
good
of
time to
shit.
start my
But I've
live.
seen Charlie Kirk dog walk with both of y'all.
Okay, SJ.
Okay, Charlie
Do you mind-
Kirk dog walked
do you-
us?
Can I speak real quick? No, she left.
Yeah.
She left.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunate. So did Duel. Well, hey man, listen, if you're gonna get angry and you're gonna get all explosive, you should hang out with us for a little bit. Have a chat. Thank you for the motorcycle.
Hang out with us.
And I was about to say, SJ is really gonna hate the fact that, oh my god. Okay, I know that you're saying that you. Well, wait a second. Let me read the text of this donation one more time. I know that you're saying you don't need a shout out, as you don't need attention from this. I'm gonna refer to you as anonymous then. Anonymous. Thank you so much for the $200 donation over on Venmo. Anonymous says, I don't need a shout out as I don't want attention from this. I just want you to know that I fully support you and I stand behind everything that you say. Anonymous, that is so fucking incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the love. Everybody, let's make sure that we get 2,000 W-Anons in the live chats. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Anon. Oh my god. That is so much money. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much. As well as, let's see here, Nike with a 20 Canadian dollars over on YouTube Super Chat saying, I prefer it going to you than some McDonald's. Also, I just got here. Oh god, that last girl SJ or something. Why? We didn't figure out why because she left. But thank you for the 20 Canadian dollars, Nike. And what is up, Tyler? Do you support Trump?
I just had a question, not a claim. If you're trans, but born a male, should you be allowed to participate in female sports?
Okay, I appreciate you for your question. You seem underage, so I'm going to kick you. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Insofar as like the trans woman doesn't possess any unfair biological advantages due to the fact that they're male. Typically, after like 3 to 5 years of HRT, it's been consistently demonstrated in studies that those like unfair biological advantages would diminish and cease to exist. So let's go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute, y'all. Let us know down below in that chat if you want to come up and debate. Looking for that next guest as we speak, everybody. Looking for that next guest as we speak, everybody. Also, Parker, how did you manage to get that guest up here?
I saw them in the comments, and I literally just invited them.
Wait, you have the ability to invite?
Yeah, apparently I'm on my main.
You want? Oh, you want to help us get a guest up here?
Yes, I got you. Sorry, I've been trying to find a thumbnail I can use for my YouTube stream.
Hi, Jelly. How old are you?
Hello? Me, I'm 19.
Oh, we already talked, right? Yeah, we already did. If you're one of the 8.6 thousand people hanging out on the TikTok live, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. Spamming Maga down below in that comment section if you would like to join. I got, let's see here, another 37 minutes on the live before we get off for the day. We have another 37 minutes worth of debates, y'all. Yep, and it's going to be 4 hours. What's up, Jim? How old are you?
I'm 17, but I just wanted to, before you kick me, I just wanted to know what's
I'm
going on.
sorry. I had to kick you. We are just looking to talk to people that are at least 18. Everyone, just kind of give us a minute while we get the next guest up in here. Tyler, thank you for the $20 over at Venmo, saying my favorite panhandler. Sorry, not even Tyler. Taylor. Let's go. Let's go. Number one panhandler. Hell yeah. Thank you for the love, Taylor. Let's get 200 Taylor W's. As well as Christina, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, saying thanks for being a voice for the voiceless, man. I just come in here every day and say what I believe in. Thank you for the love, Christina. What's up, Sam? Are you MAGA?
Hey, no. Just wanted to say you're an icon. We love you.
I appreciate you for the love, Sam. Guys, we are just looking for the Trump supporters. Please. Just looking for Trump supporters, please. What's up, TSC? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how do you?
18.
I'm getting... I don't know. I don't believe it. We're going to move on to the next guest. I felt like they were making their voice purposely deeper. That's what fetuses do. Okay, moving on to the next guest. Holy crap. So hard to find a guest. Hello, nothing.
Cookie King Mogsy.
No, he doesn't. Shut up. Get out.
Yep.
Get out. Moving on to Shay and Ricky. Okay. Hopefully.
Dude, I saw a video saying that. That's ridiculous.
Cookie
bro.
King.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old. I have a daughter. And I noticed that you guys were talking about Trump, politics, Native Americans, immigrants, all of that
Do you
that
support
nature.
Trump?
I do as a president, but as a person, he has his moments where he can be what we call incompetent. I'm full-blooded Native American, and what you were saying about Native Americans, this is why I wanted to join the live in the first place. Immigrants are basically what Trump thinks of, oh, well, you came here illegally. You don't have anything of proof of citizenship. Well, just because they don't have proof of citizenship doesn't mean that they cannot go and get their classes and then get their citizenships. Yes, it takes a while, but Trump does not have the freaking patience to wait for that citizenship. This is why Trump is doing what he's doing now with all the illegal immigrants. This country was Native American land first. Everybody can't agree to it. Am I right?
Yeah, I could absolutely agree with you there.
Continuing what I am saying, Native Americans were here first. We allowed the Europeans, the Spaniards, we allowed everybody onto our land that was taken over years ago. Many years.
I'd say like it was like stolen. You know what I mean?
It was stolen from all the tribes. Every tribe was moved and then they were repositioned into places they didn't want to be in. But we followed by the American rule. Because the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, everything that those presidents signed, spared, and pardoned, that's what made America the way it is.
So you support Trump? So my question to you would be, why do you support Trump?
The reason why I support Trump, he has his good decisions. Don't get me wrong, he does.
Okay, like what?
But when he's going to like different things, talking he can sometimes falsely say some stuff that people don't want to believe. When he starts doing that, that kind of gets me a little upset.
So what does he do
But
that you
still,
like?
I support him as a president.
So why do you support him as a president?
Because after everything that Joe Biden had caused, Trump came back into office and he's trying to create America to be better.
Okay, so basically
Yes.
you support Trump because Biden was so bad. What was one bad thing Biden did for America?
There was a lot, man.
Sure, be specific. I'll hear you out. Let us know.
Well, let's see. He basically forged his way into the election, and everybody knew that as soon as he got elected. Because how do you
like saying in 2020?
Yes, didn't you ever realize
the
that?
only way, like the only arguments that would exist there is like having the institution suppress Bernie. But like obviously that's not the argument you're running. Like yeah, there actually might be a critique of like Biden in some states having like the governors like endorse him over Bernie, even though Bernie had more of a sway over the constituents of the state by like a direct call of Obama. But like that's like conflict in between like Democrats. Okay, that's not really conflict that Republicans concern themselves too much. So,
Right,
So,
and
what was one bad thing that Biden did during his term?
So during his term, I would probably have to say where it was after COVID hit. It was the year right after. How everything went sky high, rocketing prices.
Inflation. So how did he cause that inflation? Because see, I'm under the impression that the pandemic caused that inflation. My evidence for this would be is that that inflation happened in every single country on the face of planet Earth.
Exactly. Because not just did it cause it all over the planet, but Biden had decided that if you had ever watched some of the other news channels, Biden was going to different countries and signing with them in order to keep our inflation the way it was. Now, that was one of the worst things that he ever caused.
What are you talking about? What?
Did you guys ever realize that Biden signed off with our non-allies just to keep our inflation the way it was?
What deals would he sign with other countries that caused inflation here? Which ones?
Gas, oil, food. And that was after the pandemic.
The only deals on like gas and oil that he made was like sanctioning Russia for ethnically cleansing Ukraine.
Exactly.
Do you
So
think that was a
that's
bad
why
decision?
it was a bad decision because Russia is not one of our allies. You have to remember that. Look back in your history. That's why Trump did what he did when he got back into office.
Actually, okay, never mind. That's a bad time to bring that up. We don't so we sanction them. So that means that we stopped buying their oil.
Right. And that's why Trump signed off away from Russia. He signed off away from our non-allies. And why he's back with our allies.
Us sanctioning Russia like pushing them further away?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because
So why was that a bad thing that Biden did?
Because Biden knew that Trump had caused Russia to try and come at us at one point, but that's not what he was trying to do.
So then why is Russia going harder after Ukraine now when Trump is claiming specifically that he was super nice to Putin and that Putin should have been happy of the fact that he was super nice to him?
Wait, Parker, you're speaking. Wait, 1 second, Parker. You're speaking as if you understand what the fuck she's saying. Could you tell? Maybe I'm just like stupid, but I literally did not understand the last thing she said. Like I literally felt like I was just listening to like random words, like just thrown together in a sentence.
Dean, don't worry. I am shooting in the dark, and I'm just, she'll clarify if I misunderstood. That's kind of my idea.
Okay.
Times.
Okay. I'm just take it away. I guess I've become mute.
So the reason why I think that was one of the worst ideas that Biden ever did was because Trump was trying to tell Putin, hey, you need to back off. Ukraine is one of ours. If you back off, you could be one of ours too. But Putin did not accept that. He said towards Trump, oh, well, okay, if that's how you're going to be, then you can fuck off. Excuse my language. Now, in the process of that going on,
what's going on. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't either. I just respond.
Try one more time to explain to us why Biden sanctioning Russian oil was a bad thing.
Because we had our own oil. We did not need Russia's oil.
Whoa. So when we sanction them, we're basically saying that
Biden cut off our oil. Listen, Biden cut off our oil.
No. Us sanctioning them means we're not getting oil from them.
But in the process, he went behind the Constitution.
What?
What the fuck?
Because there's a reason why he did it.
What the fuck is going on?
What is going on, dude?
What the fuck is going on, dude? I feel so elevated right now, and I haven't touched the devil's lettuce in like 2 years, dude. Holy
Think of
fuck.
Afghanistan.
What the fuck does that? Okay, go ahead.
He didn't follow the declaration or the evacuation of Afghanistan.
Okay. So you know that Donald Trump was the one who set up the deal specifically with the Taliban, right? Which gave them 5,000 members of the Taliban back, specifically for the United States to leave Afghanistan.
Right. That's why he recruited our army, our air force, everybody from Afghanistan. He recruited them back to the United States.
Recruited them back? No, what? What do you mean recruited them back to the United States?
Okay, when you're a part of any branch of the military, recruiting back to your station position, let's say Afghanistan, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, Japan, China, Africa, Uganda, anywhere. If you get that command to come back, you're being recruited back to where you belong. So anybody who's
I don't know what you mean by recruited.
I just don't think that you've made one coherent statement since you've joined Alive. I'm not lying. Like, just like the likelihood of you making so many completely gibberish statements is like very low. So at this point,
I have a good idea.
At this point, like, I'm questioning myself. Like, at this point, I'm like, I must be the problem here, because there's no way that you've just made so many statements that have just managed to be like completely incoherent.
Yeah, Dean, I think you are the problem. I got this. Hold up, I have a question. Let's see if I can bring us back into reality for a second. Could you name a single policy of Donald Trump's that you like?
Let's see. The transgender reversal would have to be my biggest thing.
What?
There's only 2 genders, and he made that self-clear.
Wait. I'm sorry. What do you mean? What do you mean the quote unquote transgender reversal? What are you referencing? What policy is that?
Okay, so you know the LGBT community, correct? So he shut all of it down. He put out the words, "There are only 2 genders, female."
Wait, you think that
male.
he shut down?
Which aren't genders?
Wait. So he shut
the
down
transgender reversal.
He shut
that down first,
He shut
and now
down
he's working.
the LGBTQ plus community. That's got to be the first time I've heard that one. He just shut it down.
He shut it down.
So, like,
just by saying there's 2 genders.
He passed an EO, and now all of a sudden, trans people just don't even exist anymore. Yes, right?
Is that your view?
Is he gonna like sign in another EO, and like all of a sudden, like gay people won't either? Everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, I like the opposite. I like the opposite gender now. Like, it's just like poof, magic. Gay people are gone. Type shit. Is that like your view here?
So when he signed that there was only the transgender reversal, which is female and male, he's basically saying that there are only going to be 2 genders in the United States. Now, yes, the LGBT community is still here, but at the same time, they're not allowed to do what they want. They're not allowed to go out in public like they used to.
They're not allowed to go out in public? What? You think
Trump
you think
doesn't want that, but the LGBTQ...
I have a question. You don't think people in the LGBTQ community can go out in public?
Like
No, I think so. But that's one of the things that I don't like about Trump.
This is like the most okay, this is bigotry.
Listen, I used to be a part of the LGBT.
What is going on?
I knew what he was doing.
I'm lost. I'm lost.
Wait. What do you mean you used to be a part of the LGBTQ plus community?
I used to be
I didn't hear this.
LGBTQ.
Okay, like
What?
I was a lesbian until
Can I ask you a
my
question?
fiance.
So you were a lesbian. Okay, how did you go from being a lesbian to a non-lesbian?
So when I was with my ex, I realized that I was losing everything that I wanted, like feeling wise. I realized that female wasn't my go-to anymore. Because when I met my fiance, it was like something in my mind said, okay.
So
You
you're
don't-
bisexual?
So
So you're bisexual?
What you
No,
are
I'm not.
you're likely bisexual.
No. I dropped the LGBTQ because
So you
B?
used to be
What does B stand
so
for?
you used to be attracted to women and now you're no longer attracted to women.
Right, I'm only attracted to men, which
Do you
is my fiance.
Okay, let me just ask you a question. Do you genuinely believe this? Do you genuinely believe that you've gone from existing in a point of your life where you're only attracted to women and now you're existing in a point in your life where you're only attracted to men? Do you genuinely
Yes,
believe
because in the process of
That
me, listen,
that is a interesting thing. Go ahead.
may I say something?
Yeah.
The reason why I realized I am no longer into women and I'm only into men was because last year at the end of July, I figured out I was pregnant with my daughter. And that's when I realized I like men.
Can I ask
my
you a question?
fiance.
Is there any woman on the planet to you that is sexually attractive?
No,
No, not a single woman?
not a single woman.
When prior that was the case. When did that
When
change?
prior that was the case,
So-
it changed.
Okay, name like a conventionally attractive woman that you used to be attracted to.
Yeah.
Like famous or non-famous?
Famous.
Someone we know, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Doja Cat.
So you used to find Doja Cat attractive. So
Right.
when you look at Doja Cat today, you just no longer find her attractive.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much? So partially?
I'm gonna be
No,
I'm
I
gonna
just say pretty much as a small answer.
I'm gonna
'cause,
be
I
honest.
don't want to go into detail.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. So that doesn't happen. Just medically speaking, scientifically speaking, biologically speaking, humans can't change their sexual orientations. Okay?
No, it's mental.
Will you listen to me?
Yes.
Because our sexual orientations are hard coded into us, like the color of our eyes are hard coded into us. And we have so much scientific evidence to back this. There was a study done on 400,000 people, all men, some gay, some straight. There was different associations along their genome, their genetic code, based upon their sexual orientations. For instance, gay men have an association on their genome on the XQ23 chromosome that straight men don't. Okay, and then there's also some facts of difference on one's neuroanatomy. Gay men have larger anterior commissures, varying traits of the AINH3 subsection of the hypothalamus, even different levels of neurohormones like FSH, which you can't change, right? Now, I say all this just to prove that no, the idea that you could change your sexual orientation is a myth. But I'm very interested in what's going on with you because you genuinely believe that you've changed your sexual orientation. I want to ask you a couple questions here. Did
Okay.
you start going to church?
Yes.
In that church, did you start to talk to people? And was it publicly known that you were attracted to women and people would talk to you?
Yes.
Would people talk to you about that and tell you that it's wrong?
They told me that even though that it was wrong, God would still love me for who I was. But when I talked to my preacher about it, he told me that if it's what I choose. It's what I choose. If it's what I want, it's what I want.
Have you talked to any like quote unquote professionals about this? Like, did you go anybody to help to try to find help because you're attracted to women?
No.
You didn't do that. What about like family members? Did you just go to anybody for help? Or did anybody in your church try to offer you help?
No. The only help that I got was from one of my uncles who's gay. He's married to my other uncle, and they've been married for 35 years.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I say this with love. So this has happened forever. The people perpetuate the idea that being gay, being lesbian is wrong. Okay, and what happens to some gay individuals or some lesbian individuals is that they accept that as a fundamental truth, and then they try to change their reality based upon what they view as a fundamental truth. And in many circumstances, this could lead to misperceptions about your own self, and almost like a sense of like brainwashing or gaslighting driven by like your engagements in society at a place like a church or the people in the church and what they might tell you. I think like the best analogy I could give, now I forget its name, I think it may be Stockholm Syndrome. Somebody will get kidnapped, and the best way, instrumentally speaking, for them to have a higher quality of life than they would otherwise is to accept that their kidnapper is good and that they like being kidnapped and that they enjoy existing in the setting where they're being
but can I
controlled
say
by another
something?
individual without consent. Yes, you can. But before you do, the only reason I bring this up is because I find it to be more probable that that is what you're experiencing than an actual change in your sexual orientation. And it would be very worth it for you to explore that possibility.
Now, can I say something?
Yes.
The reason why I changed was because my mind told me, not anybody else, not the church, not my uncles, not my friends, not my family. I realized in my mind, okay, you're losing feelings for this chick. Do you want to stay with her? Do you find any other chicks attractive? Do you find any other males attractive? Every female I knew, I looked back in my history. I was trying to figure out who I was in the end. I tried being bisexual. I tried being pansexual. I tried being lesbian. I tried being freaking polyamorous, for crying out loud. None of that worked for me. When I met my fiance, he was one of the people I could always go to, who I found attractive physically, emotionally, before you say anything. When he helped me survive without going homeless after my ex and her parents kicked me out of their house after they abused me for what I did. Oh, well, you break up with her, now I'm gonna hurt you because you hurt her. He came to my rescue. I didn't even want to be rescued, but I realized that I found him attractive. I loved him for who he was, and we have been together since that situation.
Okay, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to say one more thing, then I'm probably going to move on. Before I met my current girlfriend, that I love very much, I tried to find somebody that I was genuinely interested in on such a fundamental level. Brittany, it didn't work out. You know, what's another random woman name? Amanda. We just didn't click. I couldn't connect with Amanda on a very on an instrumental level. Or what about Luna? You know, it just didn't work out. But my current girlfriend, okay, I met her and we really connected, and I love her so deeply. Now, why am I sharing this information with you? Because it serves as an analogy about how somebody could be bisexual not really hit it off with a large group of the people that they'll meet throughout their life and then hit it off really strong with the one, right? And maybe it just so happens that a lot of the individuals that you haven't hit it off with on that deep level have been women, and the one that you really hit it off with has been a man. But all I'm going to say, because, you know, I don't want you to share your super personal facts of your life in front of over 10,000 people on a live stream. My one recommendation to you is to go to therapy. Okay? And don't take that as a diss. Don't take that as Dean being an ass. Don't take that as an insult. It would genuinely benefit you.
Honey, I've been to therapy about 7 different times for 4 different reasons, and that being one of them. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to sit in therapy.
How about this?
I don't.
I hope that you live a happy life, and I mean that genuinely. I'm going to move on to the next guest and have a good rest of your night.
You too.
We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest, everybody. What a guest, guys. Let's go and get that next guest up, guys. If you're in that queue, make sure that you support Trump. Hello, Evan. How old are you?
Yeah.
I'm 19.
Well, welcome, people joining in. Can I say thank you to some people real quick? There's a few people I need to say thank you to. Alexandra, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $35 on PayPal. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Ashley, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Samantha with the $1. Thank you so much. Give me some W's for them. Louise, thank you so much for the $5 and the $10. And Ali, thank you for the $5. Again, W's for Alexandra and Ashley in the comment section. Thank you so much, y'all.
As well as Bald Batty, thank you so much for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying it's a shame how little people are informed, but hopefully they could learn from this. I have a lot of respect for you both. That's incredibly kind. Thank you so much, Bald Batty. As well as Tiger, thank you for the $20 as well. Amber with a 5, Anna with a 2, Jenny with a 25 Norwegian dollars. I really appreciate everyone so much for the love. A couple more here. Kimberly, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Kimberly. And I read your message there. I won't say that publicly, but I'm so sorry that happened to you. As well as Gabriella, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, saying, hey, Dean, really appreciate your life so much. Thank you, Gabriella. Shout out to Gabriella down below in the chat. Show them some love. As well as Sophia. Sorry. Wow. Thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Everybody, let's get 500 Sophia W's down below in that chat. I'm a 19-year-old college student, and it's awesome to hear you debate. I'd honestly love sometime to have a private conversation with you just to understand your ideas to become more educated myself. Well, I mean, it may not be private, but it's more private than a live stream. I'm in my Discord a lot, conversing with people in the chats over there. Join the Discord. You might run into me. As well as Audrey, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Show some love to Audrey. I've never heard a better argument for undocumented immigrant policy. Please keep it up. Love your work so much. I will say, that's probably my strongest argument is on immigration. It's so obvious to me now, but it took a while to come to those conclusions. As well as Christina, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, y'all. And then Iris, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Guys, this is probably my very last debate of the evening. I've been live for 3 hours and 40 minutes. We have another 20 minutes to go. Renee, thank you for the Galaxy. I will say, if you're watching and you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio, everybody. I get 100% of all the proceeds donated to me over on those 2 platforms, as well as you will get a shout out with your name, as well as any and all attached messages. And if you're watching over on YouTube, you can also find the Venmo and the PayPal in the pin message, as well as they're linked in the description of the video. But let's move on to Evan. Evan, how old did you say you are?
I'm 19. I go on live. I verified. I am 19 years old. I was born in 2005, December 24th.
Sweet. And you're MAGA?
Yes.
Oh, man, why?
I support Trump because I do believe in his heart. Actually, I know in his heart he's trying his best to do the right thing. It's just very hard when everyone's against him.
Dude, I'm sorry. I want to laugh, but I will reserve that. Why do you think that Donald Trump is genuinely trying to do what's best for America?
Because he's made a great impact in black communities and many communities, actually. But despite all that, his second term hasn't been
come on.
as
We
well.
can't just move past that. Explain to me how Donald Trump has made a great impact and really helped black Americans.
Well, if you look at that culture, the whole thing, they didn't have that many finances. Culture, yeah.
Okay. I'll let you finish your sentence before I butt in.
Okay. So there's a lot of financial problems. I know there's like redlining or all that stuff, and the gas prices help them. They, the lowering of housing, the increase of jobs and hiring people. And he also believes in family values, staying there for your kids, and also he also does believe in
So
loyalty.
can I get a clear answer on how you think Trump has helped Black Americans? I mean,
By being the embodiment of the type of thing he wants to fix and fixing the economy.
By fixing the economy.
Unemployment has gone up. GDP has
No
gone
words.
down. What are you
So
talking
can
about?
Can I share a very specific fact to dispute what you're saying?
Yes, 13% of the population
know-
contributes to. Oh, okay.
Oh no, go ahead.
13, or actually now it's 14.4% of Americans contribute to most of violent crime.
Really? So I'm gonna prove that wrong.
It has nothing to do with color.
I'm
It's all culture.
gonna prove that wrong. But before I do,
Okay.
you're obviously yielding a conclusion from the statement in which you see as a fact. What
I am not.
conclusion do you? Then why bring it up? What? Tell me. Why did you just say that?
I am saying that the behaviors of people lead to that, and the people they surround themselves around, white, black, any race could be in that culture, right?
So I'm confused. You told us that Black people commit most violent crimes. Why did you say that?
I said that?
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, you did. You gave the 1355.
I said 14.4% of the population contributes to most of the crime. Why do you think that's black people?
Because that 14.4% of the population is referring to Black people.
How do you know?
Because that's like the most like, typical like racist
Yeah.
like known to mankind.
All right. Well, I'm wondering what you're trying to load this at me for.
Why,
1350 is like the racist argument. Like that's a known racist
argument.
What
yeah,
13%
racists always use the argument.
What 13% of the population are you referring to, sir?
14.4%.
What 14.4% of the population are you referring to, sir?
What do you think I'm referring to?
I think you're referring to Black people.
Okay, why?
Why? Because they constitute 14.4% of the population.
Okay, and what's wrong with that?
Racist dog whistle is the 13
That makes
50
me
statistic.
think-
So
that
once
makes
again,
me
before we
racist?
move on, I just need to know who you're referencing. What 14.4% of the population are you referring to?
Again, I want to know how that makes me racist. I think you find a way to try to keep me off the live.
Can you
stating
answer
a
my
fact.
question?
Why do I support Trump is the question, right?
No, the question is,
He's
when
not
you say
answering the
that
question.
14.4% of the population have committed 55% of violent
population,
crimes. Which percentage of the population are you referring to?
I'm referring to colored people. Nothing racist. No racist.
Well, first of
feelings.
all, the term "colored" on its own is racist.
Dude, what that is? You are absolutely a racist.
So,
like,
Evan-
don't even act like you aren't.
So Evan, So I find it. I would appreciate if you'd listen to what I'm saying while I'm speaking to you. So the term "colored" is a racist way to refer to Black people. I'll tell you why. It's because that term was used to systemically dehumanize Black individuals since American slavery, and there was a preface on the usage of said term during Jim Crow era segregation. Right? So during segregation, guess what? You had white people and colored people. And if you were a colored person, you had no access to majority of all public resources, and the access to resources that you did have were significantly worse than others. So when you refer to Black individuals as colored today, right, you're just perpetuating the same racist term, which has been used to impact real material harm on Black individuals historically. So that's why it's wrong to refer to Black individuals for the use of that term.
I agree with that. Okay.
So great. So now that you've agreed to that, now let's dispute that fact. First of all, I found it incredibly dishonest of you to try to paint me to be a bad guy when I said that you were very obviously referring to Black people when you said that 14% of the
I was wondering
population
why you
commits
thought
50.
that.
Because that's the argument. And you admitted to it. You said, yes, Dean, I am referring to Black people.
It is.
Right? However, what you failed to account for when you give us a statistic is exonerations. So Black individuals account for 45% of all exonerations inside of the American criminal justice system. So the idea that they commit 55% of all violent crimes is false. That is arrest rates. And when you factor in for that disproportionate rate of exoneration, we find that stat to be false. Now, I don't know why you said that Donald Trump is helping Black Americans. It is a case that his big, beautiful bill redistributes wealth from the poor to the rich and disproportionately impacts you negatively the less money you make. According,
He's way too rich to need more money, man.
One moment, sir. According to the
Evan,
Center
can you
on
just tell him?
Sorry, 1 second, Parker. According to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the bottom 80% of American income earners will have their after-tax income reduced by Donald Trump's economic policy, with it hurting you more the less you make. For instance, the bottom 20% of income earners in America will lose $2,200 in after-tax income per year because of the wealth redistribution onset bias policy. And the reason why this disproportionately hurts Black Americans is because Black Americans have a lower income on average compared to white Americans due to systemic racism, slavery, and its aftermath, alongside a lack of generational wealth and a lack of legal equality until today, but predominantly expressed.
Do they have privileges that we don't have, Dean?
Would you mind re-asking your question and telling me how it responds to what I just said?
You were saying disproportionately they are having income, this, that, using a lot of smart words.
Yeah.
And I agree, you know a lot of stuff, but intellect and knowing a lot of stuff are actually different.
So what's your question, rebuttal, statement? What is it? Because all I
My
did was I just
question-
described to you how
my
Black
question
individuals are
is, do Black
disproportionately
Americans-
harmed by Donald
Never
Trump's
mind.
policy.
You wanted me to re-ask my question?
I mean, so I said that Black individuals were disproportionately harmed by Donald Trump's policy, and I proved it. What's your response?
How did you prove it?
Yeah, by telling you how Donald Trump's economic
Oh.
policy regressively
Hey,
negatively
you win.
impacts
I
who the
can't
less
beat
money
you there.
make,
If you believe
according
you
to the
proved it, I
Center on
can't
Budget
win.
and Policy Priorities. So what's your
All right.
response?
My response is you win since you proved it. But you didn't win the whole debate. Because listen.
So what are we
if you
debating?
think
Because I thought we were
have
debating
the
your claim that
privilege-
Donald Trump helps Black Americans.
I do believe he does. I do believe he's a great person and he loves all people.
So what has he done to help Black Americans? Because as far
I
as I'm
already told
concerned,
you.
his economic policy disproportionately takes more money out of their pockets, right? Then not to mention his social policy, like blaming every bad thing that's ever happened on DEI. Okay, yeah, you know that helicopter crash in DC. Guess what? It was caused by DEI. Oh my God! And how is the term DEI used in America today? It's just used to shit on Black people because they're Black. I'm not even joking. Okay, like I'm so fucking for real. Like you call people on the right will call Kamala Harris a DI candidate. That, in other words, that's just saying that she's Black. Okay, people just assume that any Black person with a job is automatically underqualified and call them DEI.
No, I don't assume that.
Same thing applies to women and basically anybody that isn't a straight white guy. And this is a social
I
way
have a
on how
cut
Donald
on my
Trump has
eye, actually,
hurt
for my Black
Americans.
roommate that I love. He hit me with a bat, broke my glasses. And he has to be. So why are you saying I'm racist if I'm giving shelter to people who need it?
What?
You said we assume that all Black people can't be at the job because we assume they can't, right?
I'm so confused.
Anyways, you
Did
win
you
that
say that
point
you're
because
not
you proved
racist
it.
because you provide housing?
Didn't say that. I said I'm providing shelter to someone that I love and care about, regardless of what race they are, regardless of how they act and stuff like that.
Yo, this dude's fucking weird.
Cool. I'm confused how that
Are
would
you
make
saying that you
not
have
racist.
a Black friend, therefore everything I'm saying is false?
Didn't say that. Anyways, you proved
that's
it. You said you had the proof.
essentially the reduction of your
Since
claim.
you said the proof, can I move on to my next question?
Well, Dean, I have a Black friend, therefore you're wrong. What?
Didn't say that. I did not even say friend. I didn't say that. I said, well, I may have said friend, but I didn't say that was
Oh,
my
now
point.
you're saying that your Black roommate isn't your friend?
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, Dean, here's the thing, all right? I have another question. You win that take, okay? You said you want it. There's nothing I can do when you've made up your mind you want it, you know? So my next take is a question I have for you on what privileges do Black Americans have? If you don't think they have any, I think that's ridiculous.
What do you mean by privileges?
Well, first of all, they can say whatever they want and not get held accountable the same degree as us because of something not everyone was alive for.
Bro,
By the way,
society
I'm
like
different.
society like automatically assumes that like Black individuals are bad and evil, okay? Like let me tell you a fact. So, when you're a white person in America, right, you have to prove that you're a bad person. When you're a Black person in America, you have to prove that you're a good person. Right? So when you say that Black people could just say whatever they want and they're not held accountable, okay. Well, no, actually the opposite is true. When you're white, you got to prove that you're bad. When you're Black, you have to prove that you're good.
That's racist.
It is racist. Congratulations.
I agree. That's racist.
Right?
That you think that.
it's racist
What?
that I think
No.
that. No, it's racist that it is that way. It's racist that society functions in such a way where Black individuals have to prove that they're good. In fact, you've even
I have to prove
perpetuated
that I'm
myths
good
in which
every time.
and which demonstrate that point to be true, such as earlier when you said oh, the quote unquote colored people commit 55% of crimes. Like, dude, that alone was the racist shit I'm talking about. One of the many racist things about America
How is that
today,
racist?
in which indicate a society where black individuals have to prove that they're good, meanwhile, white individuals have to prove that they're bad.
There he is, actually. There's my roommate. I'm gonna let him in. Hold on. I'm right here.
Oh my god, so cool.
Okay. So, back to my point. If I have all this privilege, why are all of my hobbies that I want to enjoy and pursue, I cannot make it anywhere because I'm judged because of the color of my skin? I get called a crackhead, white cracker almost every day of my life.
I gotta kick you because you said CRACKHEAD. You get called a cracker every day of your life. I mean, it sounds like, honestly, you probably like say this shit that you were saying on live, like to the face of people that aren't white in your day to day life. And you know what? Good for them. Yeah, you go get bullied, buddy.
Yeah, dude, like seriously, he wants people to whine for him because he got called the cracker. It's diabolical. That's like diabolical, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
go get bullied, kid. Sucks to suck, dude. Maybe just be a better person. I don't know what to tell you. All right, last guess since we have a little bit more time. We have 8 more minutes. And while we're getting the next guest up here, Brianna, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on PayPal. Let's get 500 Brianna W's down below in that chat. Brianna says, hope you're having a great day, Dean. Also, I have a MAGA pastor dad, and I think I might be able to convince him to join one of the lives. Brianna, please get your MAGA pastor dad up in here literally whenever. I'd love to have a discussion with him. As well as Vinny, thank you for the $2 over on Venmo. Then Brenna, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much.
how much more time do you have left?
Like 7 minutes.
7 minutes, everyone, to debate Dean fucking Withers, okay? 7 minutes, everyone.
Yo, nah.
Dean fucking Withers, I tell you.
I dropped that. I dropped the whole Dean fucking Withers thing. Kind of cringe.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I'm trying to be a better person.
Now he thinks it's cringe.
Well,
Are you
okay.
calling yourself cringe?
Listen. I've seen a lot of people like on these lives. I can definitely run with some pretty. Okay, let me rephrase what I want to say. I basically mog the Trump supporters that come into this live. Sometimes when they're extra annoying, I'm an asshole. I really am. I am truly a fucking asshole. And sometimes that can make me look like an asshole. It can make me look like a very egotistical person. Like, fuck, I saw a clip on my For You page earlier this morning of some Trump supporter coming up and being like, oh, Dean, you're ugly. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm so fucking fine. Have you ever looked at me before? And like,
okay, yeah, that's Dean, dude.
But like, listen. You know, like, I don't actually think that about myself. I'm not like the most insecure person ever, but I'm also not the most confident person ever. But you look at that clip and you're like, oh, like this dude is self-glazing to the max. And I'm sure that comes out in many other ways too. And then the takeaway, even from a lot of liberals, is, oh, that Dean guy sucks. He's so egotistical. So now I'm like calming down a little bit, if that makes any sense.
You've been very calm today.
I've been putting a conscious effort into it. I've been putting a conscious effort into being a little bit more calm today than I usually am. What's going on, DV? Do you support Trump?
A little bit.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You said 17. Get out of here. While we move on to the next guest on draft, we're in that queue. Make sure that we're MAGA, everybody. Coral, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you for the love, Coral. What's up, Andre? You support Trump? Andre's not even here. Somebody in the comment section said, gotta fix the teeth, though. Yo, I'll get braces one day. Trust. I'll get braces one day. Trust. What's going on?
Rough. Is it like, bro, what?
No, my teeth are fucked. Have you, like, my bottom teeth, they're fucked. I'll admit it. What's up, Whitney? You support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 38.
Are you driving?
No, I'm sitting outside. I'm at the beach.
Kate?
I'm at the beach.
I didn't say K. I said Kate.
Huh?
Is your name Katie?
No.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
Well, no, I just was going to tell you, like, I see what you're doing when you put your hand to your mouth. Like, you should really stop that habit.
It's an anxiety pen.
No, I know what it is, but, like, it's really bad. Like, it's bad for you.
Okay, tell me.
No, like, seriously.
On these lives, okay, I get anxious.
Well, I know you do, but you can.
So, I have a lavender and caramel pin to make me less anxious.
no.
It's an anxiety.
It's bad for
It
your
is.
health.
It's an anxiety pen. It
Do-
seems like it's
do
good
my-
for his anxiety. That's good for his mental health.
But my cousin used to do it, and then he got really sick with like a bronchitis infection.
Listen. On a real note,
It was bad. It just-
listen. On a real note, I do genuinely joke about it being an anxiety pen. I'm gonna mute you. You just have a lot of background noise. On a real note, the reason why I joke about it being an anxiety pen is because I don't want to glorify the usage of what it actually is. Because I agree, it's a bad thing. Okay, it's a habit I gotta kick. It's bad.
Listen,
I could agree.
I just
but tell us why you
lost
support
my
Trump.
dad. No, that's all I was going to tell you. Like, I just lost my dad in January to like COPD, and he's smoked cigarettes for years, but like that can cause it, and that is a terrible. Like COPD in the final stages, it's like a terrible up and down for your family, like emotional roller coaster.
Listen,
that I would not want to.
I appreciate you for your input. I can acknowledge it's a bad thing. That's why I call it an anxiety pin, not to glorify. You know, the only people who actually believe it's an anxiety pin are like the children, in which it would be damaging to glorify the usage of it too. So in my mind, it works out.
I know.
I agree. I shouldn't do it.
Find another one. Like, work on something else.
Well, I appreciate you for your input on my personal life. Let me ask you a question.
was
Why
it.
do you support Trump?
I don't really like. I mean, I didn't vote for him, but I don't really like.
Okay.
I just.
All right, moving on. By the way, it's an anxiety pin. I was just trolling. It's actually an anxiety pin. Like everything.
Yeah. It's actually an anxiety pen. Thank you for the fireworks. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's actually an anxiety pin, everybody. Yo, who the fuck is this? Somebody in the request, their name is Diddy Sisson. Bro. Change your name.
That's a troll. That's a troll you've known for a long time.
Oh, good I didn't bring him up. Hello, Death. How old are you?
Oh,
He's a
hey.
groiper.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Dean.
Wait, is Death a groiper?
No, the other guy.
What the fuck?
What?
I'll tell you after I kick them. Okay, now I'll tell you. That guest had like a post that was just like a baby wearing a diaper from the back. Like that was all it was. Like no context. That was really weird. That was really fucking weird, dude. That gave me gave me some strange vibes right there, man. Let me tell you. Yeah, I kicked them. I kicked them before I told you guys, so you didn't go look at the page and be like, "What? Oh my god, I gotta go look at what it is." All right, guess what? Now you can't because he's gone. That's what I wanted. Moving on. What's going on, English? You support Trump?
Crazy.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
All right. I'm a veteran.
Okay.
And I'm a male transgender.
Okay.
And Trump is restructuring. The truth is, he's restructuring the care that we receive at the VA as transgenders. No, we do not like being misgendered. Don't call me a woman, okay? Call us man or woman. That's what we want. We don't even like that T in that circle. I don't consider myself a trans man. I consider myself a full-grown man. Okay, and that's who Trump is only interested in taking care of. People come in there and they think, "Oh, wow, it's so expensive. I think I'll join the military, and I can get that real care."
Okay,
you see that? That was me. I used to look like Angela Davis back in high school. But that's how good the best care that I'm getting there. But Trump is doing that one thing, and you know something else too. I am a black man. I was also escorted to school by the National Guard back when Martin Luther King was murdered. Let me say this. I don't care if he is racist. I'm not going to judge him. I don't care. I really don't. Okay.
Why?
Why would you not care if he's racist?
Because it's not about. I don't care what he does. As long as in the military, we didn't care who was in command. As long as they did their job.
What? Wouldn't doing his job include, like, you do want them to, like, not be racist?
Some
and,
things
like, be
he's
anti-racist?
not. Some things he's not doing right. Yes. Okay. That's why I say yes and no.
Bro, you got to be trolling.
But like,
right?
if you know that Kamala Harris isn't racist and Donald Trump is racist, why would you support the racist over the non-racist?
Okay, well, let me tell you something else too. I'm also a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, and we do not judge. Hello. Now you got that? We don't judge, and we are there, and they do not. They know that this is a gender dysphoria. Even they know it.
So then why don't you support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump?
I didn't know.
You don't judge.
I didn't even care at that point. I mean, hey, I'm retired. I don't care what they do now, as long as I live my life happy. That's all I care about. But it's getting better only for that reason.
So then why don't you support Kamala Harris?
Why don't I? I do support her
over Donald Trump.
Excuse me?
Over Donald Trump.
No, I'm not over Donald Trump. Okay, I am for human rights. That's what Kamala Harris is about. I don't care what Trump is doing with that.
Yo, you're trolling. You're trolling. Yeah.
Well, you don't understand because you're younger,
no. You're trolling,
younger
buddy.
generation, okay?
You're trolling, buddy. You're trolling, buddy.
You too.
One of your reposts is literally about how articles of impeachment against Trump are here. Another one of your reposts is AI Trump.
Make America poor again. From the Oval Office to cleaning the Oval Bowl. Funny how history flushes you down. They said I couldn't run a country. Well, look at me now, running an empire of empty cans and broken dreams.
Like, dude, you're trolling. You're trolling. Admit it.
No, I don't know how that got there. Honestly, I'm telling you.
What?
I don't know. That might have been happening at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Wait, look at this one.
That New Yorker facing 34 felony charges once again spread the vicious lie about white farmers being slaughtered in South Africa. What we witnessed was not just the ravings of a racist.
I don't care about that.
Oh, yeah, the repost about how he's racist.
Hold on, let me tell you something else too.
You're trolling.
Hold on, let me tell you this.
You're trolling.
Right, okay, listen, now you ready for this? I have dual citizenship in Africa because I'm a descendant from slavery. I don't have to be in this poor country. It's broke. Over there, I'm a wealthy king. Now I got a choice. Now if Trump wants to get stupid, I can go. Yeah, ain't no troll. I'm telling the truth. That's what I'm doing. I don't need America. America needs us.
I'm gonna kick you now because you're a troll.
Thank you. Goodbye.
God damn it, bro. Okay.
The thank you at the end.
What a troll, man. What a troll, man. Okay. Yo, Stefan, thank you for the $25 over on PayPal. Stefan says, keep giving them hell, bro. I'll never stop. I guess I actually am about to literally stop, and I will not keep giving him help because I'm going to end the stream. But Stefan, I will pick it up tomorrow for another 4 hours on air. That's right. Thank you for the $25, Stefan, as well as Talua with the $5. Saying, hey Dean, I love that you're educating idiots. I've also been watching you for so long and genuinely thought it was an anxiety pin. That's because it is an anxiety pin. As well as Brianna, thank you for the, already thanked Brianna. Okay. All right, everybody. As well as Serenity.
You thought correctly, it is an anxiety pin.
It is an anxiety pin. That's so true. As well as Serenity, thank you for the $20 over on the YouTube Super Chat saying, Caramile. That's right, Serenity. Serenity. Thank you for the $20. Anyways, everybody that is listening in, I'm going to go ahead and end my stream, but this does not mean that debates are over for the day. Is Mr. PJ down here, Mr. Parker, is going to be going live. PJ, short for Parker?
Parker, get a job.
Yeah. PGJ. Parky Park. Parker, you know?
PGJ.
PGJ. Mr. PGJ. Parky Park Parker down here is going to be going live on TikTok. Are you going live on TikTok?
Yeah, hopefully I don't experience lag today. I probably will. So I'd recommend to go over to YouTube. Parker, get a job.
Yeah, honestly, all right. If you're still in the mood for some debates, go to Parker's YouTube. Okay? At Parker, get a job. His streams have been laggy. Now, I love you all. Before you head out on the YouTube, make sure to like the stream. It'll really help in the performance once the stream ends. If you're on TikTok, make sure to drop a follow button. YouTube, drop a sub. I love you all. I will see you all tomorrow. Go follow and raid Parker. The Mammoth Egos Lives. But Parker, I hope you have a good rest of your day, bro. I'm going to go ahead and...
Good night, man.
And for now, good night, Mr. Parker Park. Okay, everybody. Love you all. I'm going to go make some dinner.